We're on.
Hopefully we're on.
I love it. Looking forward to this. Nice to have it all finally set up and underway.
Yeah. So good.
I think that's on silent, that phone.
Yeah, I just put mine on
Go aeroplane.
airplane. No, you don't need to. It's
There we go.
fine. Someone might be important. The missus might need you, mate.
Never. She's pretty keen to see this though when I said I was jumping on.
Last name Diedrich.
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 So, yeah, D-double-E-D is how it's sort of said.
Diedrich. Easy as.
Diedrich. Yeah.
Oh.
Happy days.
It's just for the recording.
Yeah.
So I can cut it properly. But
Easy.
we'll go now. Righto, guys. Welcome back to the Mayoraki podcast. My name's Matt Cavosso. I'm here with a bloke that has been on YouTube since the 2nd of June 2020. He's got 3.5 million views on YouTube. I'm not sure if he's aware of this.
No, I'm not. This is good research.
His name's Matt Diedrich.
Diedrich. Yeah.
Also probably better known as the Aussie Flipper.
That's it, mate.
Welcome, mate.
Thank you, mate. This is very, very exciting. I've known about this setup for a little bit now. I've actually watched the development
Yes.
of your Instagram, putting this all together and getting the artwork on, and looks unreal.
I learnt a bit off watching you for a while and to document the journey.
Yeah, you have to.
So that's what I've done here pretty
You've almost
much.
got to capture as much as you can in these early days.
Correct.
All the behind the scenes stuff as well, because that's the stuff that really captures a lot of people.
It is.
But yeah, mate, you've absolutely nailed it. This is an awesome setup.
Just a bit of guidance from you that you didn't really know you were guiding me.
You never know what people are going to take inspiration from, and that's the
Correct.
thing. Like you're like, I don't think I need to document the behind the scenes, and then you might inspire somebody else to make a podcast just by putting out the behind the scenes of what you're doing to set it up. So
Definitely.
I mean, I've even been motivated watching you. I'm
Yeah,
like,
thank
maybe
you.
I should set up a podcast because
well, you just said that off air, so that'll be
Yeah,
pretty cool. I'll be happy to help you with telling you what to buy. The Road Gear is the best, which is what we're talking into and listening with now. So
elite setup.
can't beat it.
No.
So for people that don't know who you are, there'd be a few of my listeners that wouldn't have any idea who you are.
Yeah.
What do you do? And from there, then we'll step back a bit and what you used to do, and we'll just cruise along, man.
Right now, it's for the last 4 years, it's been eBay and YouTube.
Yep.
I've pretty much, like we were saying just then, I started creating content around the very, very early days of starting an eBay business.
Yep.
All sort of born out of COVID. I didn't know what I was going to get into when I left my previous role, and we could talk about that in a little bit. But I had a sales background and I wanted to stay in sales, and it was just, I thought that e-commerce was going to be something moving forward that was always going to sort of remain. Obviously, COVID was a pretty weird time. A lot of things were going up and down in popularity, and I thought e-commerce was going to stay around, and I jumped into eBay just because it was the biggest marketplace in Australia.
And still is.
And still is, to sell a good. And it was only a little bit of research before I just went all in on eBay, and I just said I'd continue to sell, but I would continue to sell through that, I guess, that platform that offers so many customers for you without too much effort.
Yep.
You don't need to get the website. You don't need to advertise.
You don't.
Your base is there. You just need a good product. And you can make some money straight away off scratch.
Yep.
So I was a little naive when I first started. I just thought,
I'm going to make a shitload.
yeah, I just thought this is easy. Millions of people out there. I can buy some stuff, and my sales background will help me sell it, and I can grow an audience on YouTube super fast. I'll just speak my truth.
Yeah.
It didn't happen exactly like that. Obviously, it's probably good to go in with confidence, but very quickly you start to realise it's just a real grind and a real slow process, and your timelines and your horizons to actually get it to where you want it to be are probably going to take a little bit longer than you anticipated.
Definitely.
Took me about 18 months. I was living at home with mum and dad right throughout that COVID period where it was all a bit weird, just to try and build it and know that I didn't have any money elsewhere to make a dollar. So I literally just put my head down for 18 months, learnt eBay because that was foreign, learnt YouTube. I've got some horrible YouTube videos that are still there. You can search oldest on the channel and all those videos. I'm not going to take them down because, like we said, that's part of the journey.
Story. Yeah. Do you remember the very first product or item you sold?
Funko Pops.
Oh, yes.
Was the first.
You've still got a few left.
Yeah, I still got a few left. I can't seem to get myself away from them because I think the market's died over the last little bit. But yeah,
Do you remember which one it was?
Oh, I think there was some Five Nights at Freddy's.
Okay.
That I sold a collection of. But I was I was fascinated by the flipping nature of being able to go on a Facebook Marketplace, see somebody that just doesn't quite know the value of an item,
Yep.
and then being able to cross-reference that on a platform like eBay.
Yep.
And if you know your numbers, or if you can work out your numbers, you can
Yep.
see that you can make a profit there. So I went out and bought all these Funko Pops. I would sit up on Friday nights, right back when I first get into this, and I would research all the different names of these Funko Pop listings on Marketplace.
Yep.
And I'd try and see which ones were worth a lot of money, and then I'd try and strike and grab
And get them cheap, obviously, so you can make money off
make
them.
money on them, get them cheap.
Yeah.
And when you buy bulk and buy bundles, they give them out to you pretty cheap. So that was the first kind of feeling of sitting up there. And when you take 2-3 hours out on a Friday night to research Funko Pops on Facebook, you know that's kind of a passion for you. You know,
An addiction in a way.
It was a bit. I was like, this is fun.
Yeah.
And I think with anything you do for yourself, you need to have that element of passion and fun.
Correct.
For me, I knew immediately that it was fitting my natural enjoyment. I love to sell, and I love to, even the collectibles that I sell as well, I enjoy.
Yeah. You got a few collectibles, don't you? Still, like
yeah,
Pokemon cards and stuff.
It's funny, like back when I was earlier, I'd grab a lot of cards. I know you've got a lot of cards we were looking at here before, but I had them all as a kid, and it's this eBay thing is heavily based around nostalgia.
Yeah.
So it's finding the stuff that you had back when I was a kid and a teenager.
Definitely.
That stuff sells really well on eBay.
Yeah.
So I've without buying and actually holding it into my own collection, I've enjoyed the 2 to 3 weeks that I've had it before it's sold.
Yeah.
And I'm really enjoying going out and finding it.
Kind of like it's yours, but then it's like, oh yeah, I've enjoyed that time.
Never mind.
See you
Perfect
later.
example is the hat that I've given you.
Yes.
I found some.
Oh yes, there's a great Super Bowl Green Bay Packers. I'm not a Packers fan. You are.
Yeah.
But it was just my favorite color's purple. It's got a lot of like.
It was popping.
Yeah, it's still an awesome hat. I haven't worn it for a while because I've still got that attachment to it that I don't want to wear it, but I need to wear it.
I walked in, it's sitting right up there, right in front of me. As soon as I walked in, it's a ripping hat.
It was. I think, like I brought a bit of stuff off of you, but that was. I think you gave me that.
I think I did. Yeah. Well, you come in and you grabbed a few things off me, so I thought, why not
gave
give
you a bit of extra cash as well.
100%. But that's epic.
I love supporting small businesses and hence why I've started this podcast too, is just to give people a chance to tell their story and promote themselves.
Of course.
And what better way, I feel like, doesn't cost us anything. It just costs us our time at the end of the day.
It costs you time, but also your own small business.
Yeah.
Like as well.
Yeah.
Like there's like for me, I always knew that I was going to be helping people by selling on eBay and then documenting it on YouTube, teach you how to do it.
Yeah.
But in turn, what I've come to realize over the 4 years, it's actually helped my eBay business.
Yes.
Talking about my eBay business.
Definitely.
Which I never went into that process of growing the channel for that reason. But I'll now sell to the viewers of the audience. I'll buy off you, like yourself as a perfect example. You've come into the garage, you've bought a few things off me. When I first started that, I just thought I was going to help you jump on the computer, create an account and sell a product.
Yeah.
I didn't even think that you were going to come and buy a product off me. Just so naive to the whole thing.
Yeah.
And that's the same for you too with the tattoo studio and the pod.
Still got to get that Aussie flipper tattoo.
I honestly am just trying to work on the design, but it's happening. And
Let's just do the logo you've got.
Could do the tick logo, the coin toss logo. Yeah, I think that would be
because that's your image in a way.
Yeah, I think that probably would be the I don't know where I put it on my body, but I am 100% confirming with you. I am doing it.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, and I'm doing it in this studio
too. How good. So, congratulations also. You just smashed 30,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is humongous.
Yeah, that was awesome.
In 4 years?
Yeah,
like just over 4 years?
Yeah. I think a lot of people get there quicker, slower, whatever the case may be, but 30,000, I think every 10,000 you hit on social media, and especially YouTube, because YouTube's one of the toughest to grow on. You speak to a lot of guys in content, they'll say out of all the platforms that subscriber on YouTube is the one you want to be trying to get.
I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of watching my certain people. I do subscribe to you. You can check.
Appreciate it. Oh, I don't doubt it.
On numerous accounts too.
Appreciate that.
But a lot of people tell me just focus on Spotify, just focus on Apple for this.
Yeah.
And TikTok, they say smash TikTok out.
Yep.
But I feel when I watch content or listen to content, YouTube for me is the best, I feel.
Yeah.
It's
If you can make it work and
Correct.
get your name out there with a few eyes on you, it's got so much power.
Yeah.
Because you're the audio, which you are with the podcast, but you can
Yeah.
be visual too.
yeah,
You can put that up onto YouTube. I mean, you can put audio only on YouTube and it can work, but
Yeah.
I just think the power of video is something that's going to be there forever. And YouTube's only been around for 20 odd years, so
Yeah.
it's got a long line left to go, and it's owned by Google as well. So search engine optimization, like people are going to find your videos even with no followers,
correct.
and get you off the ground. You just need to bring the right people in with the right stories, and you can be found.
Look
today.
at Mr. Beast.
100%.
Perfect example.
A lot of people out there that have crushed it, but again, 30,000, a very kind of small number for
No,
when I think about it
not at all.
From
You've been humble.
4 years, every single
Nah.
week, like it's all I've thought about.
I'll be happy with 30.
Yeah, well, you get there. I don't doubt it. You'll 100% get there. I think the biggest thing is to just not ever drop your head.
No,
and
definitely not.
Not ever. Also, too, don't look at the numbers.
Yeah. I'm a big numbers guy, so
I
that's
am too.
probably, yeah.
I look at it way too much.
Yeah.
I actually have to delete the apps so I can't look at the numbers
Yeah, okay.
because I'm so analytical in that sense.
I watch our tattoo shop followers drop.
Oh, okay.
So I've watched, and I don't care that they drop or they
Jump
climb.
back on.
So
follow.
there's just since yesterday, there's been 4 people unfollow us. So
Really?
so we hit 2,600,
Yeah.
and then it's dropped back down. And I think it dropped back, climbed back up to this morning. So
Need
it's
a
just
few reels.
I watch the numbers
Yeah.
all the time, way too much, and my missus Amy's just like, nah. Don't worry about the numbers.
Yeah,
just
don't worry about it. Just put out good content.
yeah.
Have a content plan.
Yep.
I think that's the biggest thing for me. When I first started, it was three videos a week I'd publish.
Yep.
So
You're
there were a lot
still
of
doing that
hours.
too, aren't you?
No, it's 2 now.
2?
And I actually have found over time that the less you post, but you put more time into the quality. So
Yep.
maybe even 1 video a week where it's a real dialed in video, great piece of content, more long form would actually pop better than
Keep
3.
talking.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're right.
For people that aren't watching, I'm an overthinker, and I'm just double checking that we're recording.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one.
You're right. Yeah, it's on.
We're on.
Yeah.
That's a good one to check.
Just a video. I'm the biggest overthinker, and I did. As soon as I sat down, I thought about it, and I was like, "Oh, we'll be right."
That's the one thing.
Yeah,
Gotta
yeah,
press
yeah.
that record
I
button
pressed
and we're on.
record on both of them, but
Well, this is all bouncing around.
that one's red. So
Okay.
as long as this one over here is red,
That's on.
we can cut this out
Don't have
anyway.
a flash or anything on that to say it's on.
Correct. That's
Yeah.
why you always. I'm
Double
the biggest overthinker. It's not good.
Yeah. No, we're all good.
I was up till 12:30 last night watching your stuff and doing a bit of research and
Nice.
and sorting some cards out and stuff to bring here, and it was
Cards are
just
sick.
it was just my overthinking. But yeah,
I don't think overthinking is a bad thing. I would probably put myself in the bucket of being an overthinker as well.
yeah,
I catch myself overthinking way too much. So
it's good, but it's bad.
yeah, it's good, but it's bad. I think if you're aware that you're overthinking,
Yeah.
that can help you as well.
Pull yourself up.
Yeah, because I think a lot of time you can overthink and not realise that it is an overthought.
Yep.
But yeah, for me, I kind of catch myself doing that and then kind of just take a big deep breath. And
So I have a question with your business, obviously. Is there like the best way for your industry? Like, is there? I'm trying to think of the right wording here. It's like there's part of your business that people think this is going to be easy.
yeah,
Like you thought when you first got into it.
yeah.
Is there a pathway that you would recommend for people to get in? Like, I know you do a lot of informational videos
Yeah.
on how to start it. Would you recommend them to go watch your YouTube stuff to learn, or is there
My-
anything that you can tell
Well,
them?
The channel for me is to educate somebody. Like,
Yes.
Like not even yourself because
Yeah.
you've sold on eBay a bit, but to
Yeah.
get somebody off the street, scratch, to start selling on eBay.
Yeah.
And treat it like a side hustle more than an actual business.
Yeah.
I'm really quite unique in the sense that I do it full time.
Yeah.
But it is full time accompanied with the content. And you make a few dollars off the content. So
Yeah.
the two together make a full time job for me. But would I ever do eBay just 40 hours, 50 hours a week and make it a full time income? Probably not.
Yeah.
So a lot of my content is focused around needing an extra grand to make a holiday happen at the end of the year, or
Correct,
pay
yeah.
off your mortgage if you're battling with your
Yeah.
your dollars. And really the way to do that in the way that I document with the content is to start from home.
Yeah.
Just find a hat that you've got that you don't want anymore. Just list that up.
Yeah.
Put one of your cards up. You
Yeah.
know, that these sorts of things that everybody's got lying around the house
They
has
do.
value in it. And I think a lot of the time people miss the misconception around how much things are actually worth when they are pre-owned.
Yes.
Is foreign to a lot of people.
Yeah.
I'll speak to people about what I do, and they'll say, "What do you mean? Like, why would you sell that? Who wants that?" And
So
it's
many
like,
people.
I don't get that.
Yeah.
It's like, think about a used car.
Yeah.
You're going to go out to a used car lot and buy a used car. What's the difference to buying a used hat
Yep.
or a used piece of clothing
Yep.
or a used pair of shoes?
Yep.
It's the same thing, and there's a market out there for it.
It is.
So yeah, everyone's got stuff lying around the house. You know, find it, create an account. It costs you nothing basically to set yourself up on eBay.
Yep.
You can have an item listed, an account created in the day.
I think you can have up to, and I could be incorrect here, you'll correct me. I think it's like up to 10,000 items or something without having, is that correct? That you can have?
Oh,
Or there's a certain value amount that you can have on eBay before you have to
Yeah.
pay to list more value, like
Well,
total value.
you
Sorry.
can get an eBay subscription and just be able to list almost unlimitedly.
Yeah.
So you can pay $24.95 a month, which
Yep.
is what I'm set up. Basic store, no bells or whistles to it. You've just got a storefront on eBay.
Just-
$25, and then you can list up like crazy.
Yeah.
So that'd be the way that I would do it if I was serious about it. You can just have a personal account off the get go and just list up a couple of items and see how you feel about it, and
Yep.
then advance to the actual storefront. But
Once you're smashing out that quota of each month or something and then pay for that $24 or just pay it
Probably.
straight away?
Well, I just think a lot of people, like anything, will try something and not be into it, and then they might stop. 25 is not a lot of money to invest into it to begin with.
3 coffees or something?
Yeah, it's like I would probably almost just dive straight into it myself.
Yeah.
I was gun-ho about it when I first started, so that's just what I did. But
Yeah.
you can have a personal account and still be successful because it comes down to the product that you're selling.
Yes.
You could be completely scratch, banging product, list it up. You know, search engine will be there on eBay.
Yeah.
Somebody wants it, they'll search it, they'll find it, and you'll sell it.
So I've followed you for not a long time, but a while, and I watch your videos, and I'm like, you'll be at the flea or something, and you'll find this thing, and I'll say, my missus has started to watch with me now too,
Nice.
and we'll be watching, and I'll be like, that's worth $60, and then you put up your little screenshot, and I'm like, $59.90 or whatever it is. I'm like, I'm starting to get this.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get
learn.
it. And then I started because I do disability support work.
Yeah.
Some of my participants like to go to the op shops, which I've sent you some videos
have.
a few times.
You have.
And it's like, I'm actually slowly getting into it. So I've got some DVDs. I've got heaps of stuff at home, but I've
DVDs.
just been lazy. So this is my little segue into the next thing. What's your biggest selling item?
It's changed.
Used to be DVDs?
Last year,
Yeah.
which is such a weird thing to say.
Yeah.
Like, isn't it? Like
It is, it
DVDs
is.
selling on eBay.
People will be blown away.
People are, and
Yeah.
I was.
Yeah.
And I just literally started to continue to buy them because of the sales volume that kept coming back to me. And I thought, gee,
Yeah.
why don't I just triple down and keep selling more of this?
Yeah.
Then I've refined it, and I've realised that for anyone out there that wants DVD sales on eBay, it's TV shows and it's box sets.
It is.
You can almost discard the rest. Australia Post has increased their price points a few times over the last 18 months, and that kind of phases out the cheap stuff.
Yep.
But the big box sets of any TV show out there in its entirety, 50, 60, 70, 100. We were looking at one yesterday in a video, Grand Designs. I don't know if you've heard of that TV show.
15. I did watch it, and there's like 15 series or something at $1,000.
Yeah, $1,000.
Yeah.
Brand new sealed. But
Yeah.
I mean, you could sell that pre-owned for $500-600. And it's
easily.
15 seasons of a TV show on DVD.
Which
It's bizarre.
people love to watch, but
Yeah.
the people have probably got that at home. So if you got that at home,
If you got that at home, Grand Designs is a monster.
we'll
There
buy
are
it off you
actually-
for 200.
Yeah, yeah. Let me know. Put a comment in the video and I'll give you a call. But no, it's
So your biggest thing now is
video games now.
Video games, yeah.
Video games now, just in the nature of sourcing them. You've got this opportunity where you can sell them wholesale almost, in a sense where if they're not worth a lot, you can bundle them up and sell them for a small price.
Yep.
And then the good stuff stuff you can sell on an individual listing sense.
Yeah.
So I can go on Facebook Marketplace and look up video games, and I know that I'm available to buy them all.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go with a DVD set and you've got a big allocation, big bundle of DVDs, you can't really sell every single one.
You got to sift through it.
You got to take your time and research and comp and find out what they're all individually worth. There's unfortunately no way of selling them bulk.
Yeah.
But there's kind of a no thought process to video games.
Okay.
Every piece of inventory there can be sold in a certain way.
Yeah, nice.
And that's aside from the sourcing, they actually go on to sell like crazy too.
Yes.
Massive video game
I
market.
see your turnover's crazy.
Yeah, it's number one now. I think it's about 25% of what we sell is video games.
Yeah, wow.
And then about 12, 13% now is DVDs, I think, which last year that was probably in reverse. But I've really clued on to the fact that these games in bundles can do well as well.
Yep.
And it's just down to the nature of how much you source is how much you sell. And I'm just sourcing more video games now than I did last year, and the DVDs have fallen away a bit. But it was furniture on Facebook Marketplace.
Yes, you used to do that, didn't you?
That was it.
You just got one recently.
Yeah, I got back into it, and I noticed that it had slowed up a touch.
Yeah.
I could sell them within 48 hours. Like, you buy them on Facebook, you relist them on Facebook, which that was my biggest question when I was doing it. They were like, "What do you mean? Like, you're buying it off the platform you're selling it on? Aren't people seeing that you're doing that?"
Yeah.
And I never had any messages. I never had any messages from the person initially
calling you
selling
out?
it. No, because if you think about it, if you're buying a bedside table or something and then you sell it to me, you're not probably on Facebook searching for a bedside table. It's never been something that I've been hit up about.
Yeah.
And I also don't think it's wrong either.
Nah, no way.
Because you're buying it for a price. And you've got rights to do whatever you wish with it.
Exactly right.
And for a long time there, I even had a van at one point to be able to house and transport, and I would do deliveries, and I would basically just flip furniture on Facebook and then a small eBay as it was growing.
Yep.
And that was super fun too. You could still do it today, furniture as well. It's a big one.
Have you sold that one that you've purchased recently?
Yeah, I have. 120. So I bought that in a thrift store.
For 50?
50.
Yeah.
50 into 120. Initially listed it for 150. And back when I was doing it, when I first started 4 years ago, that was the standard sort of a flip. It was a 50 into 150, make 100.
Yep.
No fees, no post. You could pick up an extra $20 delivering it. That's why I had the van. And it was pretty
$20
good.
wouldn't get you the fuel to get there these days.
No, I know. Well, I gave myself a range. I said no more than 20 out, 20 back.
Yeah.
From a time frame perspective, because you drive to Brisbane, people everyone's, because the Gold Coast is such a transient part of the world, right? So
Correct.
For furniture, for us here, we've got people coming in and out.
Spot on.
The world's in a tough spot financially right now. A lot of people scrapping for money.
Yep.
Buying used furniture. You think about it, that item that I'm sourcing for 50, selling for 150, somebody can buy that brand new in a store for 600-700.
Yeah.
So it's kind of they win, I win.
Yeah.
It's
your whole business at the end of the day.
That is the whole business ultimately. It's just it comes down to how good of a product you have and your luck in the sense of being able to source it. Knowledge.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the knowledge,
you can still make the money. It's just a bit harder.
The wildest thing about it is that there are two apps that can give you confidence before you.
I was going to get to these, but I'm happy for you to talk about them now.
Dive into it now.
Yeah, for sure.
The eBay app allows you to be able to search up any product. And then be able to see the recent sales and also compare that to how many listed in the marketplace that aren't sold.
Yep.
So you get a really nice look at, okay, this is a really slow selling product or it's a really fast selling product with a click of a button.
Yep.
That's a super powerful thing when you're out in a thrift store or a garage sale and you can quickly just type it in to see and get that knowledge.
Definitely.
And then go to the checkout, and even before that, you can use an app called eProfit.
Yes.
Which I use all the time if it's an item that I'm just sort of deciding on, a bit on the fence about.
Yep.
Where I'm not too sure if it's enough money in profit to be able to go ahead with the buy based on what the price may be. And the eProfit calculator is an eBay specific calculator that lets you know what the profit will be after the fees.
After their fees, yeah.
And you just type in your buy price, your postage price, and what you think you can sell it for.
Yep.
And it will tell you that you'll make X amount of dollars, and then you decide.
So that price that you say you could think sell it for would be your bottom dollar?
Yeah.
So then you
It'll
don't
be
go
off that research on eBay prior.
Yep.
What's selling? I've got them listed highest to lowest.
Yep.
And then I go and put a mid-range price point into the calculator.
Yep.
That would be an accurate representation of what you could be able to get for it.
Yeah,
and this is all done in-store before I've even forked out money to buy it.
Which you put on your videos
Which
as well.
is what I teach. That's exactly what I teach. And I really try to – I've got this new little line that I've started to say over the last few months, and that's just because it's cheap. It doesn't mean you should buy it.
Yes.
And that was my biggest issue when I first started. I would just buy it because it was $2.
Yeah.
And I filled up my place, and it was just horrible in the sense of having all this really low sell-through rate stock that wasn't converting. And it was also not really that great of a sale price. It was maybe $20 for a $2 item.
And then you got your fees and everything
Postage
that come
comes out of it, and you're making yourself $4, and you're storing this in volume, and you're thinking, hold on a minute, why am I doing it that way? So we've worked on a higher average sale price, faster sell-through rate, in-demand items, and we're starting to see them turn over, and we're making more profit off every single sale.
Yeah. So for people that don't know, Matt literally runs his whole business out of a garage in a townhouse.
Single car,
garage.
5x3.
And then he has a little spare room upstairs that has bugger all stock in it.
It's now empty.
Oh, well, there you go.
It's now empty. But it was half full up there. And that was exactly to the point of these low-value items. The rubbish.
Much,
literally the rubbish. Literally the lessons, as I like to refer them to. It was I had to pay to buy these bad items to learn the lessons and not buy them again. We got rid of them, donations, Facebook Marketplace, lots. Cleaned out that third bedroom. It's just a guest bedroom now up there, and it's basically just not being used. And everything is now housed, and that's a bit of a rule. To make sure you're buying items that turn over, because I don't want to move past the garage.
No.
And the garage has got 1,200 items in there right now.
Wow.
So it has been fit in there nice and tightly, and it's all pretty organised.
Due to Courtney's efforts.
Due to Courtney. Yeah, Courtney's been huge.
For people that don't know, Courtney works for Matt a few days a week and just pretty much lists all these items, takes the photos and packages up the sold items. And
She's a jet.
Yeah, she's the one that smashes all the stuff out, and Matt's the face pretty much.
Yeah, that's the way.
And the knowledge.
By design, when you hire someone, just get them to do the stuff you don't want to do. And I didn't want to do the listing.
It's
and
a
the
team
shipping.
effort, mate.
It is a massive team effort.
It's a huge team effort.
She has been amazing, though, to be able to have been able to get her on board. And initially it was 20 hours. It fell back to 15 hours over the last probably this year, 2024.
Yeah.
She's still doing 2 days a week with me. And, she literally will do the listing and the shipping, and I'll make sure I've got the quantity of stock for her to list. And then I do the content as well, making the videos. So, yeah, she's been there 18 months.
And everyone thinks you're together for how long until you did that video?
Yeah, we did.
I personally thought the same thing.
Yeah, I know. And I know a lot of people did. You probably just would assume that, though, too, right?
Yeah.
Like, you watch all these other people in our world of eBay, YouTube, and they're all husband and wives, partners that are doing it together. And we were just another that looked like that.
I feel because you're very good friends that it comes across as that way.
Yeah, it does.
And it was just due to one of your friends' sister or something, isn't
100%, yeah. So my one of my best mates' sister, so my best mate's sister-in-law is Courtney, and I've known Courtney. They've been dating and married forever. So Courtney's, while we weren't like best of mates around that time, I always knew of her. There was multiple friendship events that I'd bump into her. And I was actually trying to get Kristen to work for me.
Okay.
Because Kristen had just had a kid, and I thought maybe a bit of maternity leave.
Perfect.
If she can find a couple of hours to come and help me. I wasn't chasing many hours.
Yeah.
And she was contemplating it. And then she goes, Courtney actually might be interested. And Courtney was working at Burley Brewing. She was working sort of in the warehouse for Burley Brewing. And she was kind of over it, a couple of years in it. And she goes, you know what, I'll just give it a go, give it a chance. She understood the way YouTube could potentially pop.
Yeah.
She might not like me saying this. I don't think you'll be able to find it.
She won't watch this anyway.
She probably will. She probably will. She had a YouTube channel.
Yes, she did.
But it was terrible.
Oh, sorry.
I don't think you know about this.
She had an eBay.
She had an eBay that she started.
I didn't know she had a YouTube.
I think her interest around being on, knowing that it was eBay YouTube is because when she was 16, 17, 18, whatever it was, she tried YouTube.
Yeah,
It was that part of her that actually wanted to.
What was it? She was
doing like 16 to 18-year-old girl stuff.
So
like
makeup and
all that. She just wanted to be on camera.
Get back into it, Courtney.
Yeah, she could get back. I only said to her the other day, I said, you should literally just create a channel, because the guys that watch the Aussie Flipper love watching her.
They do. Well, your videos, and you've seen the numbers, your videos with her in them, they pop off. The thumbnail.
The thumbnail.
Yeah.
You put Courtney in a thumbnail, you get more clicks, more views.
Makes sense.
You make more money.
Don't take this the wrong way, Courtney, but sex sells. So
it does.
Good looking female, good person as well.
She's a great person.
It helps. You can see that Courtney's a great person just by
the
way she comes across on the camera, and she doesn't hide anything.
Nah, she doesn't hide anything. She was nervous at the beginning, obviously, like anyone
Still
would
is
be.
now.
Still is a little bit nervous for sure. Yeah, I'd love her to just grab it with two hands and know that she's everyone loves watching her, and
Yeah.
she can say anything, and she's going to be accepted online. There's no haters out there for her.
Is
what
she a
she's
bit
doing-
of a introvert?
Initially, when you've never met her before,
Yep.
she's introverted. But then once you become friends with her, she's very extroverted.
Yeah.
And she'll say that herself. But
You and I are the total opposite.
yeah, we're straight off the bat.
Yeah.
Straight off the bat, extroverted.
Yeah.
It's the way I've always been. But
Uh,
no, she's been awesome. 18 months in, she's
good.
crushing it.
What do you feel with your business, the biggest misunderstanding with that kind of?
I think the misunderstanding is that the product that we're trying to sell isn't viable or isn't a good product to sell, or nobody wants it. A lot of people I've got a girlfriend now, but when I was single and I was meeting new people and I'd talk to girls, I would often say what I did.
Yeah.
This is the first sort of thing that kind of made me realise the perception of it.
Yeah.
Your friends and family are always accepting of what you do and they wouldn't say otherwise, but you speak to somebody brand new and it was met with a real kind of, I don't know.
He's a weirdo.
Yeah, that's strange.
Yeah.
How do you make enough
That's
money?
not a job.
How do you make enough money doing
Yeah.
that? You sell used toys
Shit.
on eBay. Yeah, like speak to me about that.
Yeah.
Completely foreign to the YouTube side of things in the sense the way that you can make money and build a business on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's still foreign for a lot of people.
It's weird, hey, but it's good for you because it gives you a better opportunity to sell.
Does. Yeah. And I've come to, initially I was always like, damn, that sucks that I've got that perception about myself. that,
Correct. Yeah.
when I say that and I'm so excited about talking about what I do because I love it,
Yeah.
that it's met with that thought. And the best thing about Kate, my girlfriend, she's from day one been so
Supportive.
stoked about it.
Yeah.
Like I think within a couple of weeks, she was like, "Can I grab the camera and film you at the flea market?"
I remember that video. You seeing her feed on the.
Yeah, but that
Yeah.
wasn't me saying, "Do you mind doing that?" She was like, "Can
that's
I come
great.
along and grab the camera?"
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest things I love about her is she's just so supportive to understand that this is something that I'm super passionate about, and she's happy to help me. And not I'm looking for help, but she's just supportive of letting me go and do it.
Doing your thing.
She believes in it.
Yeah.
So it's the same with Courtney too. She believes in it as well.
Yeah.
So you need those sort of people, and everyone else you can kind of ignore.
It's sad that people these days will judge you on anything, but
And I think the more you can not care about that, the better. Doesn't matter what you do. Any thoughts or opinions, I get it in YouTube comments a lot as well. People just saying their thoughts. And you very quickly realise that it doesn't matter. You just got to literally deflect on it, not think about it. Don't retaliate as well.
Yeah.
I think that's a really big thing too that I've had to bite my lip a few times.
Thanks for your support. Thanks for your thoughts.
Yeah.
Hope you're having a good day.
Yeah, I actually use the term which I think is a little passive aggressive. I say jog on.
Cool, you're a runner.
I'm a runner,
Yeah.
and I look at it like it's if I told somebody to jog on, it was get out of here type thing. But I'm not having a real crack.
F off, pretty much.
Yeah, basically, it's a polite way of saying F off. So yeah, jog on's been my standard line. I feel good when I say it at least.
Oh, I'm going to look for those comments.
There's a couple in there. Well, never
I'll
to
just
you.
like 'em.
Never to you.
No
Never to
way.
your comments.
So you are a runner. I've
Yeah.
been for a run with you
You have.
twice.
Tough day that day.
Oh,
We
so
went pouring rain.
people that don't know, Matt and Brooke
Yeah.
did a very big thing. It was a Goggins thing,
David
was
Goggins.
it? Yeah, so
Yeah.
I won't try and explain it, but I don't feel Matt's been a runner for like a lot, like
I've been a runner from a very much more of a chilled out, casual.
Yeah,
do
yeah.
it. I do it more for mental health than anything
Yes.
else. I've always run to just kind of clear my head after a work day or a uni day back in the day.
Yep.
Never had any really big outlandish goals with my running. The half marathon is something I've always tried to do. I've actually done about 10 or 11 half marathons, and I've never,
wow.
until 2016, I think it was, did my first mara. And then I didn't do it for 5 years, and 2 years ago I ran my second one, and then this year I ran my
Did another
third.
one this year.
Yeah, but this run club that I'm a part of,
Unfit Run Club, is it? Unfit Running, is it?
Unfit Run Club,
Yeah.
basically, yeah. They're a group that I joined when Courtney started.
Yeah.
Because my mindset around working so much was when Courtney started, I could actually get out there and
Yes.
have a bit of a social life. And
Yeah.
I've got my really close friends, but I didn't have any network of like a footy club or a cricket club like I used to have. And running was a super big passion, so I thought, well, why don't I try and join a run club? And I met Kate, my girlfriend, through that run club. Met a bunch of mates now that I've got from there.
Yep.
And Brooke, who you touched on,
Yes.
is massively into running around
She's
that
crazy,
time.
that girl.
But she's only 18 months in.
Yeah, right.
Like, she was the one that is more just starting at that 18-month ago point. I was obviously back when I first started years ago doing it socially and casually. But she kind of, I remember she said like week 1 or 2 that we got, Paul and I, my mate, joined Run Club.
Yeah.
She goes, "Do you mind if I come out and I do a 10K with you tomorrow?" Because we were doing a longer run on the Sunday.
Yeah.
I said, "Yeah, sure, come along." And then from that very week, that very moment, she has gone obsessive on her running, and she actually ran a 3:42 marathon, which is
wow,
a very, very, very quick time, especially for a chick too.
Yes, definitely.
And she was a couple of minutes off qualifying for one of the Global 6.
She just missed out, didn't she? But she qualified for the other.
She's going to London.
Yes.
She's doing the London Marathon.
Is it the Boston one or something I think she missed out on?
She
or?
won at Boston. She won at any of the big 6, I guess.
Of course.
But she won a ballot entry for London.
She did, I saw that.
So April, I think, next year she goes for that. But
crazy.
she ran an extra 2Ks every single Sunday from that 10K run, which
Okay.
was a record. She'd never run 10Ks last January.
Wow.
And within 18 months, she's built that to what she's done now, where April next year, she's going to London. So she's obsessed. Running is her entire life. And I've run and trained marathons with her for the last 18 months. Become very good friends. And
she's a lovely person also.
She is. She's pretty
crazy runner. It just doesn't. Very supportive too.
Yeah, well, she's the run mum at Unfit Run Club.
Yeah,
if you go to Unfit and you try and do a session there, she's the one leading the pack.
Yeah.
And it's, she'll be barking orders, people getting
she
off
was
the road.
When I came.
Yeah. But that Goggins challenge that we did was 6 miles every 4 hours. No, it was 6.4 Ks in kilometres because the rule is 4 miles every 4 hours for 2 days, 48 hours.
Yeah.
So it worked out to I think 84 Ks in 2 days. So 2 marathons in 2 days. But a unique concept in the sense that you're only running 6 Ks and then you're off for 4 hours.
Yeah.
But then it's
recovery and everything.
The recovery, but also too, you're going through the night. The sleep. Is distorted.
Yeah.
Your food needs to be really monitored in the sense that you don't want to eat before you go again because your stomach starts to cramp up and stitch up. So we had to get into this real quick. We had to learn really quickly to eat as soon as we finished our run.
Yeah,
it gave us enough time in the 4-hour break to have our stomach settle to go again.
Yeah, wow.
And then micro sleeps, which is just haunting.
Micros in like what kind of?
Micros in the sense of just, by the time you finished a run, it might be the 3rd, 4th, 5th along the 2 days.
Yep.
By the time your body winds down, because you're so wired after a run.
Yeah.
So to wind yourself down, definitely. And you've had some food too.
Yeah.
So by the time you've had some food, you've wind down, you finally get to sleep, you've got about 20 minutes left and you're up again.
So 20-minute sleep.
Like, we're doing a lot of 20 minutes.
Wow.
And during the day,
that's huge.
We weren't sleeping the day. Like the day was the day. Like it was just, because what we did was we raised some money for the Australian Heart Foundation.
Yes.
Brooke's dad's had 8 heart attacks.
Oh, wow.
8 heart attacks. Crazy numbers. Still here with us today.
That's crazy.
And she wanted to raise some money to help the Australian Heart Foundation. So that's what we were doing it for.
Yeah.
And we always want to challenge ourselves with the Goggins Challenge. It's run on the 25th of March every single year, I think, globally.
Yep.
But we did it a little bit later, just picked our own weekend, and we raised, I think, about $2,000 for it, which is great.
That's great.
But it was a taxing old, like it is tough. It is.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
No, it's
no way in the world.
My body got a little banged up. I've still got a sore knee from it. And this was 6 odd months ago or so. It's still very fluidy in the knee and no good. Because we were, unfortunately, we were in the middle of marathon training.
Yes.
Just sort of threw that in there. And I think it was.
Which is not good.
I went from a 50K average run week to 100 that week.
Wow.
Because that was 84 in itself.
Yeah.
I think I'd done 15 before we
didn't rest the legs before it either.
But you came along.
I did, yeah.
You came along for the Sunday.
I wanted to support you. Like I've always said to you, I love trying to help and support small businesses and people with anything that I can do. It was piercing down
horrible
rain.
Day, like puddles of water.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like there would have been 15, 20 centimetre puddles, just like the gutters were just chockers full of water, like into the middle of the road.
Yeah, and we had that throughout the night prior too.
Yeah.
It just rained, unfortunately, for half of the 24 hours.
I was just there for the energy, pretty much. I was just trying to pump everyone up.
Well, you did. I was actually pretty spent when I saw you on that Sunday because that was like, 12 hours to go with 36 hours in or whatever it was. And I was just wrecked. My stomach was churning because people want to like help you out. And they made us cookies.
Oh, full of sugar.
And I was eating all this sugar and all this
Yeah.
cookie, and in any run, I would never do that.
No way.
And here I am just going, oh, thank you so much for the support, a bit of fuel.
I've got to eat it to show that I care.
But also, they were great. They were good cookies, so I could have eaten them all.
Didn't feel good though.
Nah, absolutely not. And I didn't. I ruined my stomach. I just got cramp after cramp. And a lot of those runs there on the back end on that Sunday were just trying to get through it. And then the rain didn't help as well. So
the mentals would have been.
Mentals are tough.
Yeah.
But that's
Head
also
noise
why
of
I like
doom.
to run.
Yeah,
I
I'm
like
the
to run
same.
for the head noise.
Yeah. So I actually, I don't know if you know this, but I have a goal that I set myself earlier this year was I'm doing a boxing fight in November for charity also. And then, so that's on the 30th of November.
Yep.
And then by Christmas Day, I've set this day 6 months ago now that I'm actually going to run a marathon by Christmas Day. So I don't care if it's Christmas Day.
That's sick.
I just want to do the distance. It's no race. I just want to do the distance without stopping.
Yeah.
If I can do it. It's going to be, they say that once you get to 30 Ks is easy, but once you get past the 30, it's...
The marathon starts at 30.
Yeah.
That's what Robert T. Costello will say at the Gold Coast Marathon every year.
Yeah.
Over the mic, 30,000 people in front of him. He'll just say, just my final piece of knowledge. When you get to that 30K, that's the race. And he's not wrong.
So I did the 10K at the Gold Coast Marathon this year.
What was your time?
So I hadn't run because I had heaps of injuries through cricket.
Right.
So I hadn't run for like at least 6 or 8 weeks.
Right.
And 5 kilometres in, I got pins and needles in both of my feet, not just one.
Really?
5 is literally like right on the 5K mark.
Shit.
And it felt like I was carrying buckets of concrete on my feet. They were that heavy.
Yeah.
And I did it in 48 minutes.
Bloody good time. Especially on the way you're feeling.
Yeah, it was.
48 minutes is quick.
Yeah, it wasn't. I said to my missus, I'll be happy with 53.
Yeah.
Just because I hadn't run in a while.
That's a sub 5K.
Yeah.
Which is always good when you're in the 4s.
And I I would never run that fast for a marathon. No way in the world. I'll be happy with 7 or 8 minutes.
Yeah, well, you surprise yourself. You surprise yourself. If you do that training and you get some hill sprints in there, some effort sessions on the sprinting, they're crucial to try and get the overall aerobic base up as well. And then you do your slow long runs. 3 runs a week, you could get yourself through a marathon. If you wanted to try and get a little bit quicker, you'd probably look at 4 or 5 sessions a week.
Yep. I just want to do the distance. I don't care how long it takes me.
Yeah, we're actually running 24 kilometres tomorrow for Kobe Bryant Day.
Okay.
So
24 Ks tomorrow.
24th of August.
On Saturday. What time are you going?
5:30.
Oh, how long will that take?
Sure, I'm going to be a lot slower now. It's an hour a 10K, let's say, so 2.5 hours. Should be done by about 8.
You can see what I'm thinking, can't you?
Yeah.
I'll try and get there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know if I'll make it, but I'll try.
Yeah.
I'll be there. Where am I meet you?
Well, I think we're down south. I think we're down like Tweed Way.
Okay.
And
I've got a client down there at 10 o'clock in the morning, so
good work.
Go for a swim afterwards.
Yeah.
That's my shower.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Could make it work. 24 Ks, Kobe Day.
Well, there's half. I know, as you know, I'm a big basketball fan.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's the 2nd of August with Gigi, number 2.
Yep.
2nd of August 2024 as well. I think there was even a day, the 10th of August, because Kobe's US jersey is number 10.
Yes.
So the 10th of the 8th, 2024 is his 3 jersey numbers.
Yeah, right.
That would have been
he
the
had
day
number 8 as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So August being the 8th month.
8. Yep. Sorry.
10/8/24.
Yeah, wow.
All of them. So
Kobe
the 10th
Day.
of August would have been the day, but we're going to do it tomorrow.
How good.
Yeah, love Kobe.
We've got off track there a bit, but that's...
Yeah. A lot of running, though.
a lot of running. So Matt's very tall for people that aren't watching this. And you, what, 6'3", 6'4"?
5.
6'5". Yeah, right.
6'5".
And he's got the most hideous shoes
I
that
don't
anyone's
think they're
ever
hideous.
seen.
Look at those. They're not hideous at all.
He's got a pair of Vans that are black and white checkered.
The checkered Vans.
I got one mate that actually wears these shoes.
Well, I think you should too.
And definitely not.
I love them.
So my mate's huge into fashion. Sells his own vintage clothing and stuff, does it on loan. You're a big vintage clothes man as well. He wears these things.
Smart man.
Flat out.
Smart man. You actually, I don't know if you can see the sole there.
Yeah, they're nearly done.
They're nearly done. So I'm actually, I put a poll up recently and I said,
I saw that.
yeah, I said, are they good or no? And 70% said they were terrible.
I did a phantom vote. I said yes for you, just
Oh,
to
did you?
make you feel good.
I was well out of whack. But no matter what, everyone was saying to me, they are terrible, and it actually made me triple down and want to go and buy a new pair.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna vlog.
Do they still sell them?
Absolutely, they still sell them. What are you talking about? Of course they sell. You go in any van store.
I'm a big fan of these.
Tigers.
Yeah,
Tiger
on a
Onitsukas.
Suka Tigers.
Yeah, I actually sell a lot of those.
They're the best.
Yeah, they sell for
Because
off foot that would sell for about $80.
Yeah,
literally.
Their soles aren't too good on them, but
They're not too bad.
I've got about 7 pairs of these.
7 pairs, yeah.
And I never wear them.
Why not?
Just because they sit there, and I said to my missus, I need to sell these on eBay because I never wear them.
The sell-through rate and the sale price.
But then I've cleaned them up and I wore them and I remembered how good they were.
No,
So now I'm starting to wear them again.
Yeah, they are a sought-after shoe.
They are.
These are not, but they are. Definitely. But in my mind, I've got the best shoes.
What would be the best selling shoe you recommend to buy for people that do have shoes just sitting at home?
Yeah. The common ones are the best ones. I mean, the shoes that you're seeing a lot of people wearing are obviously what people are going to be wanting to buy pre-owned too, right?
Hoka's at the moment?
Hoka's are always a great shoe. The Asics Gel Kayano and the running shoes. Obviously, being a runner, I'm pretty well versed on what running shoes sell the best.
Yep.
But the Tiger Onitsukas do incredibly well. Merrell hiking shoes.
Okay.
They do really well if you've got the hiking shoes out there. But probably the best Nike shoe from a Nike running shoe sense would be the Pegasus.
Okay.
They're the number one selling shoe that we've got, the Nike Pegasus shoe. And you see them so often in thrift stores because there's so many people out there wearing them on feet. And even if you're unsure, just get a little bit inquisitive when you're at a coffee shop. Just have a look around and see what people have got on their feet.
Yeah, right.
You do that enough days throughout the year.
Yeah.
You start to get a bit of an idea about brands. And I'm a big brand person. Like
So
I always look at brands and tees. And I'm like, what are people wearing?
Yeah. You wouldn't know any of this stuff I'm wearing except for my shoes.
Well, I like the Meraki podcast too.
Yeah. So we make these ourselves.
That's all. I have to get one.
Yeah. I'll give you one on the way out. How's that sound?
Love it. That's awesome.
And then this. So because you are a vintage man,
yeah,
this is actually a vintage shirt.
Oh, really? Made into shorts.
So it's the I can't even Michigan, I think it is.
Yeah, it is.
State vintage shirt. The bowl series game or whatever it is. And my mate has his own business called TTS Designs.
Oh, nice.
So he sells and makes his own shirts and shorts, and then he sources vintage shirts and makes them sews them on into a pair of his own shorts and sells them. People love vintage stuff. Look good. And they're comfy.
They look comfy too. That's sick. Yeah, I'd be down for them too.
Yeah.
I have to jump on the website.
Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. But
and the G'd Up Boys as well.
Yeah, the G'd Up Boys. They're good socks.
I listened to the G'd Up Boys at the convention centre.
Yep.
They spoke a lot around social media and the way they're able to build their business through socials.
So I followed these guys off of a business called YKTR, which is called, because you're an AFL man.
Yeah, exactly.
They're ex-rugby league players that started their own brand called YKTR. Okay. You know the rules.
Okay.
Just same as what you did in their own shop, in their own bedroom.
Yep.
Designed their own stuff, sold it to their footy teammates.
That's it.
And now it's
big,
humongous. Yeah. So they were in the same building G'd Up are in.
Oh, okay.
So, but Isaac John, which used to play for the Panthers and the Warriors, he's just moved to the Gold Coast.
Yeah, right.
And now he's starting it again, but he's just got a warehouse and just clothing.
The G'd Up Boys are
they
talk around building community, and that's how they sell.
Yeah,
and they sell through scarcity as well, in the sense that I only have a drop for a certain amount of time, and just get in and buy it, and they clean out their product.
Ridiculous
within a drop.
Some of their stuff's phenomenally priced too.
And also the resell.
Yeah.
If you people will buy it. He spoke about it in his prezzo. He was saying that people would buy it when the drop happened because of the scarcity.
Yep.
You would then go and place it onto eBay, and it would be a brand new item that you're selling, but no one can buy it.
Have you come across any of the stuff in the thrift?
I actually weirdly haven't come across, and I actually hadn't heard of the G'd Up Boys until I heard their podcast. Their prezzo a year or two ago at the convention centre. But I was just more fascinated around the way they were able to build their community through social media.
It's so big,
massive, and it actually stemmed through him losing his license.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if you know that, but
I didn't know that. No.
DUI, 6 months, 9 months where he didn't have a license, and he really wanted to build his business still.
Is that Parko?
the main guy.
Yeah, I think it's Parko.
Whoever the main guy is
Yeah.
that runs the show, it was his, and he's brought in his boys ever since. But
Yeah.
he would get on his Instagram stories or whatever it was to talk through his camera on his walk to
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. Right.
And he would just ask people what's going on and go live, and he would have a 45-minute walk to work because he couldn't drive.
Yeah.
And he would use that 45 minutes to build community. And
I know
my mates
another-
are doing that.
I know another bloke that did that exact same thing.
Smart.
He owns Cherry Shop down in Melbourne, the trading shop. Have you heard of Cherry?
I haven't, no.
So they pretty much sell like just all cards. So they sell boxes of trading cards and stuff. That's literally their business. They have a shop in Melbourne, which is humongous, and they have one in Tasmania.
Right.
And does the exact same thing, catches his train or whatever he does, goes live every morning.
Says hello.
And he's got one of the, Gary Vee, obviously.
Yeah.
So Gary Vee's been to his shop numerous times.
Right.
He
So
collects.
he's massive into cards.
Yeah. So it's just building his business.
And
off
you don't
that.
think you're doing a lot by going live and having
No.
a bit of a chat, and you don't know who's on the other end watching. You don't know their stories on the other end and why they're relating to you in any way.
So true.
But it's huge. It really does build community. And it's free.
It is free.
Turn that on. It's just your work and effort to do it. Like, that's
it's your time, hey?
It's your time. But it has bigger impact than you realise.
So I want to go back to what you did before you
Yeah.
started this eBay stuff. I know you're in the AFL scene.
Yep.
With the Suns, is that correct?
Yeah, initially right at the start, I was with
Yep.
the Suns off inception. When I first went to uni, I did exercise science because I wanted to work for a football club as a physio.
Yep.
Then I realised pretty quickly the science background that I didn't have was going to probably get in the way of me being a physio. So I jumped into uni and did all this crazy exercise anatomy and physiology, and I was like, man, I'm well out of my depth here, and flunked the courses, and within 6 months I was out, and I worked at Woolies or Coles.
Yeah.
Did fruit and veg for a year and saved up, bought a car, and then I went back into TAFE. I did a diploma in health and fitness.
Yeah.
But that gave me a year of credit to reduce a business degree at university from a 3-year degree to a 2-year degree.
Yeah, nice.
So I went into it, right, maybe I can get into a footy club. It was all about trying to get into footy. And I was like, well, if I can't go sports science, maybe I could go admin and just be in the admin world. Had no understanding of what I would do, but I just wanted to be in the 4 walls of a footy club.
I'm part of the Suns.
Just part of it, yeah. And at this time, they were GC 17.
Yes.
So they weren't the Gold Coast Suns
Yep.
at this point. And I knew that if I was at uni doing a business degree for 2 years, I would actually finish when they would start
Oh, nice.
their first game. So I did. And
Yep.
and I had to do work experience in those 2 years. And I was the aisle attendant at Metricon.
Oh, yeah.
Where I'd tell you which seat to sit in.
Yep.
And it was free work experience. It gave me my
Oh, good.
hours. But the HR manager of the Suns would walk around and just check on all of her volunteer
See
aisle
it.
attendants.
Yeah.
And in conversation with Meg, who's still there now, she's been there forever. She said, what are you up to? What are you doing? I said, I'm doing a business degree. I want to get into the 4 walls of the footy club. How do I go about it? Who do I speak to?
Me.
She's like, I'm HR.
Yeah.
I said, wow, it's all about who you know, isn't it? That's a
definitely.
bit of a passing joke. And she goes, oh, well, just do the rest of your degree and see how you go and blah, blah, blah. 6 months before I graduated, I got a job in the membership department at the Gold Coast Suns. And
Nice.
to me, that was actually imposter syndrome type stuff.
Yeah.
Because I had Gary Ablett, I had Big Charlie Dixon at the time. He was
Yeah,
probably in his
wow.
infancy. But all these boys that are really well respected in the AFL world,
The goats.
as I was of them,
Yeah.
I had to kind of pull myself together, and you're a part of this from a working sense. You don't get too excited here.
Can I have your signature?
I would sit in. I remember there was one day when I was like 6 months into this membership role that was very entry level.
Yeah.
Had me on the phones making sales calls. This is where the sales
sales stuff
came
comes,
into it,
yeah.
and it was through just. This is the role that you're given at the Suns. You're you're the membership guy. You got to spruik memberships and get people on board the footy club. I'd pick up the phone and tell people I was at the Suns and I wanted you to join as a member, and they'd think I'm a newspaper.
Yeah,
They
right.
thought I was the Gold Coast Sun newspaper. Like the concept of AFL here
Yeah.
on the Gold Coast was foreign.
I feel like it's still pretty.
It's still pretty foreign, to be
Yeah,
honest.
it is.
Saying Gary Ablett, they would say who?
Yeah, I know. I followed it a bit, but yeah, I still feel I haven't been to a game here yet.
No, and I think that's the case for a lot of people. And it's also so transient, and it's rugby league dominant. So there's so many things weighing against football or sport ultimately working on the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
But that was my job. So if I'm having a passion for sales, that was because I came through the trenches of selling the worst product you could possibly sell. And if you could sell the worst product,
Yeah.
you could sell the best product.
Definitely.
So my first entry was trying to sell Suns memberships, but there was a day there where I was sitting in the gym. You got to use the gym at the footy club,
Yep.
part of your staff benefit. And
good.
and Gaz was in there. Gary Ablett was sitting
Yep.
in there, the GOAT of AFL, and I was a big fan of him. And I was doing a weight session. I was watching NBA. There was a playoffs game on, and he's a big NBA fan.
Yeah, okay.
He sat down next to me on the weight bench. And
You're like,
we
oh.
watched the last 2-3 minutes of
How good?
and I'm like, I'm on like $48,000 a year, absolutely shit kicking this phone call job. But
He's on 1.5.
he's 1.5 mil, and he's the nicest guy. He sat down next to me, and he was invested in this game, and I was holding the phone, like almost shaking with the phone, trying to.
Quickly take a photo.
Yeah, I was just trying, and I've seen him 100 times, but I never
Yeah.
actually sat down, had proper conversation, and bantered with him like we did for that 20 minutes of my lunch break. So I
Yeah.
just went in at midday on a lunch break session. You could use the gym whenever you wanted. And he wasn't there with the club. He was just in there for his own work on a day off, just doing a session himself. But he heard the game was on. He sat down and we spoke for 20 minutes.
How good?
And I'm like, man, that was such a big light bulb moment at that, 20 years of age.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just want to be in footy forever.
Yeah.
And I did. I stayed from 20 to 30, 10 years in the AFL.
Nice.
4 years at the Suns. I went over to Canada and I worked in the MLS in a soccer club
oh, yeah.
for 2 years. Came back to try and get myself a leg up was the reason I went over there to Canada, try to get international sport experience.
Major League
MLS, Major League Soccer.
Soccer, yeah.
So like LA Galaxy that Beckham
Oh,
played
yeah.
for, it was the Vancouver Whitecaps
Yeah, right.
in that league.
I'm a big Calgary Flames.
Flames, yeah.
Like
in the
I
hockey.
got heaps of Flames cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was 2 years in Vancouver, so
You would have seen plenty of games.
seen it. Yeah, Canucks games, a lot of
Yeah.
Canucks games. BC Place and the Rogers Arena for the Canucks was literally touching. The
Yeah,
buildings were
wow.
touching. So we could get to Canucks games pretty easily. I
Nice.
actually wanted to work for one of the 4 majors.
That'd be cool.
I really wanted to. The whole idea was get a Canadian visa and then try and work for an NBA side, being
Yeah.
NBA being my number one.
Yeah.
And I spoke to a sales manager at the Raptors
Oh, wow.
because you couldn't work in the States with
Yeah.
no green card.
Yeah.
You could only work in Canada. So I got the visa to work in Canada, and I was like, right, Raptors is going to be my team. DM'd on LinkedIn. He shot me. He said, let's get a coffee.
Wow.
I was in Vancouver. I was like, I'll get on a plane and I'll come across and we'll have this coffee because I was so adamant. I'm like,
Yeah.
if I've come from Australia, I can
I'm
go
in.
from Vancouver to Toronto.
It's not very far.
I mean, whatever the flight was, I was willing to do.
Yeah.
And then I think he realised that I was on the other side of the country and he was like, I thought you were in town. There's no opportunities rolling at the moment. This was just a get a feel for it.
So if you were there,
Yeah, well,
something could have happened.
I was adamant to go, but he kind of stopped me and he
Yeah.
sort of said, "Oh, look, there's no
Pulled the
opportunities."
handbrake on.
But that's how adamant I was about trying to work for an NBA side, and it ended up being the soccer. I took the MLS gig, and I worked in
What did you do there?
sales.
Sales
Yeah,
as
it's
well.
another sales role. They offered me permanent residency to stay on. I was top sales guy out of the 4 or 5 that they pulled in together.
Yep.
On that take up of staff, and whoever was to do the best was to get the full-time job. And then obviously my issue with being Australian and only being there for 2 years,
Yep.
they said, look, we'll sponsor you to stay for as long as you want, grow within the company. And
Yeah.
I said no, and I had 3 or 4 of my mates come across and did a ski season with me for 5 months.
Wow.
Just drank for 5 months and snowboarded every single day.
How good.
4 or 5 of my best mates here on the Gold Coast
Yeah.
all came over for a few months each.
Wow.
And then came back and I got a job at Freo. I went over to Perth.
Oh, yeah.
I worked for the Fremantle Dockers with Optus Stadium.
Yep.
That had just been created there.
Huge, that place.
Massive, amazing stadium.
Yeah.
And 2 really big AFL teams in an AFL town.
Definitely.
Coming from the Suns to then step
Total
into
opposite.
the complete it's
Yeah.
royalty. Over there at the Freo and
Yep.
West Coast. And then Carlton. I went to Melbourne after
Yeah,
that.
right.
And then COVID hit, and I'd only been at Carlton for 6 months.
And everyone just lost their job.
Well, yeah, I had a girlfriend at the time. We shot back to Perth because I'd met her in Perth.
Yep.
And everything, like Carlton had put us into a Woolworths distribution centre job. So we were, which was
What's doing there?
nice of them to offer us a job through their
Yeah.
sponsorships and connections. They
Yeah.
were like, while you're not working for us and you're on stand down and the
You
world's
can
in a
pack
weird
shelves.
place, you can pack shelves.
Yeah.
And I was a weird one.
Grateful?
Well, grateful in the sense that I was able to benefit out of JobKeeper.
Yeah.
Like, I was still getting paid JobKeeper because
Yeah,
I wasn't
okay.
working for Carlton.
ATO's not listening,
No,
hopefully.
people were winning out of this.
Yeah,
You were either really winning or really losing.
Yeah.
And there was no stipulation to not work
Yeah,
while you were
okay.
getting paid JobKeeper in another job.
Okay.
So I was working this other job, but I was on stand down with Carlton.
Making more money than you ever were.
Actually making more money. So I tripled down on this warehouse job like crazy.
I'll do overtime. I'll do anything.
Because you're not spending money either.
Nah.
Like the world's locked
You
up.
couldn't, yeah.
So I was working this warehouse gig, sitting there spinning in my mind going, what are you going to do next? Because Melbourne doesn't look like it's going to be great.
It was the worst.
It was the worst.
Yeah.
Best thing I did was never go back. And then Carlton said, come back to the footy club and we'll do this hybrid work from home thing and just see how it goes. But my job was sales. So my job was to try and speak to this. At this point, it was commercial sales, B2B. I was trying to speak to businesses about joining and sponsoring the footy club, like the brands
The
on
jerseys.
the jerseys.
Yeah.
My job was to try and build and
Yeah,
nurture
right.
those
Wow.
brands.
Big money in that.
Big deals.
Yeah.
Like big deals. Biggest one was a match ball sponsor
Yeah.
with a transport company. I think that was about 1.3 mil over 3 years. So there's some
Is that
serious money.
TNT?
No, it was
No?
Sullivan Logistics.
Oh, yeah.
They're a transport company based out of WA that do national
Everywhere, yeah.
national transit.
Like a Finamore or someone like
yeah.
that kind of thing.
Smaller
but over there.
Smaller biz, but
Yeah.
passionate Freo man.
Yeah, right.
Super passionate Freo man. Already a corporate partner at a smaller level.
Yeah.
I sat down with him in our renewal programs that we do. I had him as a client. And he was a dining package. He'd come in for a nice feed and watch the game in a comfy seat.
How good.
And I said to him, mate, there's opportunities if you've got some cash to go bigger and better with the club, and we can put your brand out there, and there's cool little ways, jerseys and things like that. And he's like, what can we do? And sure enough, Sullivan Logistics, I was able to tee up a deal where it was on the football.
Yeah,
For
wow.
Fremantle home games.
Huge
He was
money.
buzzing about that.
How good.
Made it a big deal, but that was a tough thing in COVID to try and stay in from a job.
Of course.
Because I was to go to these businesses hemorrhaging, trying to save their business, to then say, hey, I'm at the Carlton Footy Club, come back.
But in a way too, that business would have been thriving because the amount of trucks that were running all over Australia to keep stuff.
That business was thriving, but 99% weren't.
Yeah, correct.
And I had a portfolio of 60 or 70, and then I had a new business.
Two wanted to spend money.
Yeah, two were okay to come back.
Yeah.
So I was in a dogfight. As much as they wanted to be a part of it, I knew that they wouldn't have been able to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And I knew that those next 6 to 12 to 18 months in the footy industry, in my role in the footy industry, was just going to be more stress than anything else. So I guess smartly, looking back in hindsight, said no to Carlton. But then I didn't have a job.
Yep.
So it was racking my brains.
No Woolies or Coles.
I was in the warehouse for 4 months, knowing
Yeah.
I probably wasn't going back to Melbourne and
Yeah.
probably wasn't going back to Carlton, but I didn't know what it was going to be. And it was Gary Vee that we'd
Yes.
touched on earlier that I'd listened to for a good 12 to 18 to 24 months.
One of the best.
One of the best. And I'd kind of had him in the back of my mind and understood the concept, but because life goes on and things are busy and you've got a job and you don't have time, I never actually actioned any of his advice, but I knew all of his advice at the
So
thought.
many of us do too and don't action it.
Never action it, and he pumped it into me for years.
I'm guilty of it.
Yeah, I think we all are, because it's really hard to change. Change is so hard for a lot of people, but this was a moment where it was forced change. Like I wasn't working in the industry that I've been in for 10 years.
Yes.
Not by design,
Yeah.
but because by the way the world was. So in a blessing, in a weird situation that it allowed me to kind of just sit there for 4 months in the warehouse and go, what is it that you're going to do next? But don't just grab anything. If you could paint the picture of the best thing in the world to come out of a shitty situation, what would it be? And I thought if there was ever a time to work for yourself, it was probably going to be that moment in the warehouse where I could step into something brand new. And then I had the support of my parents.
Lovely.
Came back to the Gold Coast. Hey,
So they were still here?
5 minutes up the road.
Yeah.
And,
But they lived here still while you were...
Yeah,
down
so I was
south and
from Suns
Freo.
days growing up. I was born and
Yep.
raised Gold Coast. So
Yep.
born just around the corner. And they've always been here. Originally, I'm from Adelaide, and that's how the footy thing came
Yep.
about. Dad's big in AFL from Adelaide days, and so we'd always been Gold Coast. They had remained. I'd done my run around.
Then you were gone all over the world.
5 years, I think 25 to 30. When you
Yeah,
take
good.
Perth into consideration, I'd also kind of scratch that itch of travel.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't need to go away. I don't
And
need
got
to.
paid.
Yeah, I could literally just sit there and I could work away at this eBay YouTube thing, live with my parents, know that I was on rent free for a little bit there while they were letting me just have a crack at it.
Yeah.
They were very as much as they were supportive, they were very foreign to the concept of what I said that I was trying to do.
Yes.
You know, these guys are 60 odd years
They
of
understand
age.
now, though, obviously.
They do. They are, and they've been supportive the entire 4 years.
Yeah.
But I think their understanding of why they're supportive
Yeah.
has
They
grown.
were supporting.
They were supportive, but they didn't know what they were supporting. They just go and do it, and we hope for the best. And now,
And hopefully it works.
hopefully it works. And I kind of wanted to pay them back for,
Of course.
supporting me. And so I tried to really triple down and knuckle down, and I ghosted life
Yeah.
for 18 months and lived up in the third bedroom at mum and dad's place and tried to learn it. And I'm still trying to learn it even today.
You are.
It's a
And we
forever-
all are.
We all are, yeah.
Yeah.
You never stop learning.
No,
Um,
I learn so much from, and you obviously know now because I'm telling you, but I watch your stuff and I'll watch some of your videos, but I won't just watch them once.
Yeah,
I'll watch
multiple.
them more than
Yeah.
once just to get that information going, circulating
I do
through.
that too.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I feel some people just watch something and then take that little snippet out of that whole big picture or video or whatever it is that you can learn multiple things.
Yeah.
And I do that with your stuff all the time just because it helps me.
It does. Yeah, I'll come back to big videos too, like really big topics that I'm looking to learn something off. And it's actually good for the algorithm too.
Yes.
If you come back 2-3 times, it's clearly a good video. So
You're
I'm glad you're doing that. That's helping me out without me realising. But no, it's important.
I'm just looking at I'll tell everyone here what I'm doing.
Got you.
Just looking at my little list of questions here. What is the biggest challenge in your business with?
I think any business, it's cash flow.
Yeah.
It's trying to put the money in the right spot, keep things growing. You've obviously got your own personal expenses outside of the business related expenses.
Definitely.
I'm in business for the first time in my life too. Like
Yeah.
trying to do this YouTube eBay thing was coming away from being in 9 to 5 my whole life.
Yeah.
So trying to learn the basics of business, actually having it as your own. I dealt with a lot of people from a B2B sales perspective. But all my responsibility was to drive revenue in those roles.
Yes.
Now
Now you have to do it for yourself.
you got so many hats. So many hats. You got no one to rely on. Obviously, Courtney now can give me a chop out and give me a helping hand. But
Yeah.
I said that I ghosted myself for 18 months and just head down. That was because I didn't have a spare second.
Yeah.
Because I was spending 40 hours a week learning what to do, 40 hours a week doing it.
Yeah.
And not doing it correctly. And it was just this constant evolution of learning, and trying to over time get a little bit more efficient.
Yes.
That it wasn't until when Courtney started that I had enough cash flow to be able to provide
pay.
her with a wage,
Correct.
and which freed up 20 hours for myself to go and do the social stuff again.
Yep.
That's where the Run Club came into it. But that really did take 2.5 odd years
Yeah. Wow.
of just sacrificing a lot of social stuff.
Yep.
And money too. 'Cause
Yes.
I was on early day 6 figures at the footy clubs, and then I went back to barely being able to survive when I chose to move out of home after 18 months. So my earnings fell like crazy, but I knew that if I kept working away for a few years,
Yep.
I could far surpass a footy club
Yep.
role, and really your earnings are.
You're doing quite well now. Like
I'm
your
doing-
sales wise,
Sales-
sales numbers are good. Obviously, you've got a lot of stuff you've got to take out of those numbers.
You
But
do.
yeah,
You generally in an eBay business, anyone doing it, whether it's side hustle stuff or full time, a 30 to 40% margin is about average.
still pretty good.
So we're doing about $10,000 in sales a month, 120 a year. We're doing about 35,000, 40,000. I think it's about 40 to 45,000 true profit.
Yeah.
But then you've obviously got YouTube on top of that as well, which
Yeah.
boosts it up a little bit. So I'm definitely not making the money that I was making in the footy club days just
But you're
yet.
enjoying it.
I'm loving it because
Yeah.
it's been 4 years of working for myself, and
Yeah.
I've learned so many new skills, the whole content thing, editing videos, selling products, understanding business, managing a staff member. I was
Yes.
never a manager.
Yeah.
So when Courtney came in,
I know how you feel.
there's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
There's a lot to get your head around.
So I had my own pest control business before I moved up here,
Right.
but it was only just myself
Yeah.
and my ex helped me run that.
Yeah.
But I learned a bit of stuff from that.
Yeah.
Coming into this, so I pretty much do most of the business stuff. Amy just focuses on the
Tattooing.
the tattooing,
Yeah.
but it's good, but it can be very stressful at times too.
Super stressful. And also too, there's a perception that no one else really understands the world that it is for you. Like,
Yeah,
a lot of my mates aren't in business.
Yeah.
And a lot of them will say, surely you're crushing it with $10,000 a month in sales. It's like, I'm just scraping with 10,000 in sales if we're just talking profit on eBay.
You're pretty lucky in the sense too, though, that you don't have a huge amount of overheads.
I think that's the coolest part about it.
Yeah.
Is that there isn't.
Yeah.
You know, I'm working out of a garage, so there's no warehouse.
It's not like paying X amount of dollars for a lease like this.
No.
And
and there's a bit of security in there to say that,
definitely,
you know, cover your own bills
and
cover the growth of continuing to build what we're trying to build. You know, that's really all you have to worry about. So from also too, this is all done from starting from my own
from
$2.
nothing.
Like, I didn't go out and get a business loan.
Yeah.
I don't have 10, 20 grand lying even in savings when I first started.
Yeah.
I did have a couple of thousand out of the footy club days.
You had mum and dad.
Well, I had mum and dad. I honestly, you know, what's rent? I know rent was probably a bit better back then.
Oh, imagine if we went back to those days.
Yeah. And this is the thing that makes it really hard for a lot of people to get it off the ground.
Yeah.
And that's why I teach it as a side hustle, to say you don't need to do it full time.
Yeah.
Like, you can do your job 9 to 5 and then make $1,000 selling stuff on eBay in your own time.
$1,000 a week you could make.
Well, you could make $300 a week. You know,
$1,000 a month.
Say you made $100 in profit a week. That'd be $5,000 a year.
That's good money.
$100 a week is selling 3 on those percentages that we spoke of. It's like making $300 in sales.
Yep.
I could teach you how to make $300 in sales every single week, and that puts $100 profit in your pocket, gives you $5,000. That $5,000 helps towards your mortgage. That $5,000 takes you on a holiday at the end of the year. That's really where I see eBay as a great tool for any human being out there.
Yeah.
But people aren't from that prior sales background that I am, so the core concepts of sales and business probably doesn't resonate with as many people out there, and I'm starting to realise that. And that's what I'm trying to teach on YouTube.
Yep.
The business and the numbers and the sell-through rates and the profits and all these numbers that people hate, that you and I don't.
Yeah, we love them. Yeah.
But a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
And they actually run away from wanting to do it because they're scared of all that. But I have a real passion for it. So I actually now, only in the last 6 to 12 months, want to start teaching that. I'm not the true collector that I think a lot of eBay sellers are.
Yeah.
So my angle is around business, sales, and helping you build a business on eBay. And I've started to realise that over time.
There's a fella, and I'm not going to name names, and I don't expect you to say his name either, but there was a fella I used to watch. He was a Gold Coast bloke as well, and he used to do what you do. And
oh, I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, you do know who I'm talking about. I'm not naming names, though. But I used to watch that bloke, and I just saw through his what he was doing, and I was like, this bloke isn't what the industry should be, or what, like, and I felt like he was just a bullshitter, to be completely honest, and that's my words.
I think you nailed it.
And then from the algorithm of watching his stuff, I come across your stuff, and I was like, fuck, this bloke's actually a good person. Like, this bloke is so informative. This bloke does, obviously I'm talking about you, but it's like, it was just, I was attracted to what you were doing and how well you were doing it for someone that had no experience.
Well, this is a Gary Vee tip.
Yeah.
And this is the advice that I've got for you with the podcast and with anything that you might do on any further social media, is that literally just documenting your journey, where you're at, truthfully and honesty. I was saying to a mate that started to create reels going to the gym. He's big into the gym, and he's starting to create a page around his gym work. And he hurt his back yesterday.
Okay.
I said, "Did you turn the camera on?" But that's the stuff, like the shit stuff and the ground root stuff, and
people connect.
It's like everyone hurts themselves at the gym every now and again. I'll twing it back.
I don't, because I don't go.
You don't go. Yeah. And this is Fab's, my housemate, that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And
I think I've met him once.
Yeah, you probably would have actually. He's a ripping fella. He's out of Unfit Run Club as well. Doesn't really run. He goes along just for the social
He's the
stuff.
unfit part.
He's the unfit part. He'll self-admit that from a cardio sense. He's good in the gym though.
Yeah,
but
nice.
he started, I think, living with me over the last couple of months. He just, feed off the people you're around, and he's just seen me creating all this content, and he watches a lot of YouTube stuff, and
so good.
He started to make some reels. So I'm trying to sort of teach him about what will work well.
Tell him to use CapCut, man.
He does. That's how he edits.
Someone else I know should be using it too.
I know, I'm not using it. That's one of the biggest things I got wrong when I first started.
That's great though. He's finally jumped on the bandwagon.
He's making reels, and he's doing this challenge where he's doing a reel a day for 90 days to just get into it.
My mate's doing that at the moment. I think his is 100 days, but it's just
Well, it's good because like a podcast, like if you can get to, I think, what are the numbers around podcasts?
I'm pretty sure it's like some people don't even get to 5 episodes.
No, God no. No. It's like 90% don't make 11.
Yeah.
Like if you can get to 12, you're ahead of 90%.
Well, I've got 19 booked in already.
There you go.
So I'll get to 19 at least.
Yeah, and you just don't look at the numbers. You just create the content, create the content, publish.
I just can't wait for the NRL season to finish because
you get them all in
when I'll kick off. Yeah,
but get all the boys in.
Yeah, I've actually got to. I'm not saying to anyone that the name until it happens, but I've actually got a bloke that's played a crap load of games. I'm not going to say numbers because I'll know who I'm talking about straight away.
Top dog.
He's one of the big boys, and he's only ever done one podcast.
Oh, really?
And he's said to me that he's going to jump on because he's coming to get tattooed. And I said, well, when you come and get tattooed,
it really needs to be for you. And we touched on it before we started this. You need to have that camera out there while he's getting tattooed. I will be for sure. Yeah, and so just set it up.
I just need the approval of the client, but there is people that do want to do it.
That's the only thing you got to tick off.
Yeah,
just getting their approval and acceptance.
So I've got a form that they fill out when they sign that we can do photography and filming stuff anyway. So it's already in that form.
It's good.
It's just letting them let us do it
and trying to get a story out of them too.
It's just having the music and stuff out there that I'd have to cut off.
But even if you did sections of, we're going to film for the next 20 minutes.
Yeah, it won't be long.
Turn it all back on.
It won't be anything like a 2-hour.
No.
It'll be just, why did you come here? What's the story behind your tattoo?
Yep.
And
you could almost breed it off Miami Ink or LA Ink or whatever with Kat Diavon or whatever her name is.
Yep.
Just like I've even started to do intros based off TV shows.
Yeah. Okay.
How do TV shows do their intros? Like, you know, how does a tattoo studio that's on TV now structure their show?
Yeah.
And then, okay, I'm just going to cut and edit and build story like they do.
Yeah, right.
You're already halfway there.
Yeah.
Because
I've got the tattoo studio. I've got the
tattoo. But ultimately, if you watch those Miami Inks, it's just their story.
It is.
And everyone that comes into the chair, and also the story that is causing them to put ink into their body. It's going to be a good story.
It is.
I say this to.
Does it hurt?
I actually say this to Brooke through Unfit with the running. She's a hairdresser.
Yes.
Salon stories.
Yeah. Like
she lives and breathes story.
She could just put the camera there.
Do you know how many times I've said that to her?
Yeah.
I said, I'll be your first person. Put the camera there and talk to me. Ask me questions about my life.
There's blokes that do that on TikTok.
Yeah.
And they're barbers, obviously. But they make, like I know a bloke on the Gold Coast, and I won't say his name either because he's told me this personally and he didn't want me to say it. But he makes $1,000 a day.
Yeah.
On TikTok by just literally having a camera there while he's cutting hair and people are just donating through whatever they do on TikTok.
That's right.
He makes $1,000 on top of his wage.
I don't doubt it. And
it's ridiculous.
Limited low effort.
Yeah. He literally does nothing. The phone's on charge the whole time.
Yeah. It just sits and plays. I think a lot of people that are watching this podcast that are thinking about starting a business or starting social media, a tattoo studio can dominate. A hairdresser can dominate. Somebody that's selling goods on eBay can dominate. Somebody that's running can dominate on social media. It doesn't matter.
Brooke.
Yeah, anyone. Brooke could do so much because she could do running and hairdressing. But people think, no one's going to want to listen to that.
Yeah,
that's boring. My life's boring. You hear that a lot, but it's not.
No,
you can literally talk about anything, turn the camera on, and there's going to be a breed or a sector of a community out there that just absolutely frosts what you're talking about.
Definitely,
and that helps you. It really, like when you do something like running, you're kind of doing it for your own personal interest, but where you can really make money is the business stuff.
Yes.
Doing it with a tattoo studio that can then get further clients just through exposure. You're actually paying to advertise. But sorry, you're not paying. You're advertising for free.
Yes.
You're actually making money.
Yeah.
I get paid AdSense.
Yeah, you do.
But I'm advertising.
Watch the whole ad. Don't click skip.
Oh, but even still, like I haven't had to fork out to get in front of say 5,000-6,000 people watching a video on the Aussie Flipper page.
Yeah.
I can promote a product that I find in a thrift store, and by association of telling you how much it's worth, I'm still actually advertising the product that I'm trying to sell.
Yeah.
And then someone will come on and they'll buy it off the channel and they'll put a little note into eBay and say, hey, that was an awesome find. I've just bought it.
Yeah, nice.
I didn't pay to get that out there.
No, you didn't.
That was free to do that. And any business out there is going to have the same result if they just put it out there and communicate it, tell what you do. You can make a lot of money on social media.
So Matt does a trip once a year, and for people that were talking about, you have stuff sitting at home that you want to sell that is literally just sitting there rotting away, doing nothing. Matt obviously buys these products, but Matt does a trip once a year to America and buys stuff over there. So, and the stuff over in America is so much cheaper in the sense of,
they've got the Goodwill bins over there, which is a very foreign concept to anyone in Australia from a donation centre perspective, but it's pay by the pound, and there's just trays of just...
It's ridiculous. Like this podcast studio would be just a bins, and it's just full of anything and everything.
They'll group them into a shoe bin, a clothing bin, an accessories, toys, whatever the case may be. But the bin just goes out as is, broken goods.
It's pretty cool to watch.
You could get anything in there. And there's been some wild stuff that's been found. And I actually, going over on that trip for the last 2 years, have really been adamant about spending a lot of my time in the bins.
Yeah.
Thrift stores are over there for sure, but the bins are so foreign that if I'm over there for a couple of weeks, I'll just spend all my time in the bins. And I've pulled out some
bin
wild... bin rat. And there are guys, like I did, because I was like, I know of people that are doing it and the way they go about it. They'll turn up at 9 and they'll leave at 5.
Yeah, wow. Because they're always filling them?
It's just every 15 minutes there's a new set of rotation.
Yeah, right.
And you can come in at any hour of the day and you can just pick through the remains of what's left over, but then you get that new bin every 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You can walk in at any time.
That's pretty cool.
I was there from 9 to 5 for a couple of days.
You were?
Full day.
Yeah.
And there was a Macca's next door, went out, I left my trolley with all my goods, and that's the thing. The respect that people have for your trolley, and if you cover it with a little rug.
I saw that in your videos.
Yeah, I even as an Aussie coming over and experiencing it for the first time, felt so assured that I could just let my trolley just sit there and I could leave and no one's going to steal.
Yep.
Because you get in a lot of trouble with the regulars there. If
Yeah,
you're
right.
pickpocketing other people's trolleys, it's like there's a rule actually. If you find a shoe and you need a second shoe, and because they're not laced up or anything, it could be over there, it could be over here. Like
imagine that.
I found a pair of Jordans and I only had the one.
Yeah.
And somebody else found the other one.
Oh, so you were both looking for it.
What do you do? Because everyone's after shoes.
I had it first. I was here at 9.
It's a coin toss.
Oh, is it?
That's
cool.
Rule. That's the rule. You go over, you want to flip for it.
It's like rock, paper, scissors pretty much.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah.
No, I did this. I rock, paper, scissors. I lost 2 in a row.
Oh, no.
And I said to the guy that was a viewer of the channel, actually, that had spied me in the bins, and he goes, "This is so cool that you're over here. Can't believe you've come to these bins." No, this is a separate guy.
Oh, okay.
And we were just in conversation. And I said to him, "Mate, I've lost 2 tosses. That sucks." And he goes, "Is it a double-sided coin?"
I was.
And I was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Some of these guys that have been here forever, they flip double coins."
Wow.
And I didn't flip the coin because I didn't know that this is the thing. And they're like, "You want to flip for it?" And they pull out their coin and they're just showing it to me. And I just went with the top thing. I didn't look. I reckon it was double-sided coins.
So you're not sure, but
I don't know. But this guy, he was like, "That happens a lot.
Yeah,
like if you're losing every single time, maybe you're getting the double-sided coins."
Take an Australian coin, double-sided coin over there.
I'd take my own coin.
Yeah.
Next time that I go. But that was a really interesting experience.
Have you got it planned in for next year?
Next year I'd like to go. Yeah, I didn't go this year. I went the last 2 years. I found it was a shadowless Charizard Pokemon card.
I remember this.
This was huge. This was last year.
It wasn't just that. There was heaps of cards too, wasn't
there? Yeah, I think collectively it was about $11,000 worth of cards, and I've sold probably about 5,000 or 6,000 already.
Some of them at grading still?
Yeah, they're not, and they need to be sent across to grading.
Oh, you haven't
so if you
sent
want
them?
any of these to go, I'll put it into a group and
send
them all across.
I'll probably send that 101 for sure.
Yeah, because I've got to send the 3. I found the 3 in that set. It was the Charizard, the Venusaur, and the Blastoise.
Should have sent them ages ago.
I know.
I can help you with that if you want to.
I'm actually just so fearful of how to set it correctly.
So I've got a bloke down in Melbourne that could do it for us.
Maybe we do that.
And he will also inspect the cards before we send them and clean them if they need to be cleaned.
Oh, well, that's
good.
And
then Lane, his name is.
Oh,
Lane Pierce.
Did you send that to me?
I think I did, yeah.
I think you did too.
Yeah.
I spoke to him.
Yeah.
But I've never actioned it. Just because I'm so... These cards, I think the Charizard...
Sentimental in a way.
I think the... Well, definitely sentimental because it's the year of the cards that I used to collect, the originals, the base.
Is that
the very first
edition, yeah.
Yeah, this is the first Charizard ever made, and Shadowless refers to a bit of a shadow on the side of the card.
Yeah.
This was Shadowless, and the way it went down in the video, which you can go and check it out, he pulls out these cards, and they're just in a little packet. But it was the Charizard that he shows me. So I'm seeing these cards as he's giving them to me. He goes, "Have a look through those."
I don't know if they're any good, and you had to...
But it wasn't
control
like
yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I started to flick through and I'm like, I know all these old cards from back as a kid, like I touched on earlier, the nostalgia of what you used to collect.
Yeah.
So I knew of that straight away. But then literally that very first card was a Shadowless Charizard. I'm like, oh my God. And it was a really nice home, very nice suburb.
Was.
Drove a Porsche. He didn't really care about the
didn't need
return,
it.
and I threw a $300 offer out, which is 500 Australian, and then he said 350. So you only bumped me up $50. Like, he didn't-
Done.
And I was like,
$325.
no, 325. I knew I'd made thousands,
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
still
yeah.
said 325. Just the sales guy in me, I guess.
Yeah.
I said, no, 325. And he goes, deal, done.
Yeah, how good.
Yeah, it was a little over $500 Aussie. And I remember
10 times your return.
yeah,
already.
well, yeah, it was 500 into 11 grand. But
Yeah.
I've still got about these 3 cards. The Charizard I think is worth about maybe 3 grand.
Yeah.
And then the other 2 are worth maybe 1 to 2 grand. So I
Yeah.
think they're
But if
like-
they're a PSA 10, they can be.
well, the Charizard, if it's a PSA mint 10, it's worth 12 grand.
Yeah.
And that's the card that I have. It's
Yeah.
just unfortunately not a PSA 10. It's probably only worth 3 grand based on its condition. I
You
think it's
reckon
probably
it's like an 8 or a 9 or something?
I think yeah. I think I'd be happy to have it as a 7.
7.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So
I
the
don't
edges
think-
aren't too good.
Nah, there's definitely,
Yeah.
but it's still because it's that card
Yeah.
in any form of condition.
Yeah.
You're into the thousands straight
See,
away.
sometimes too, when you get, you probably know this yourself, but I'm going to say it anyway. But with the cards and stuff, sometimes it's better to sell them raw. If the edges, like if it's a 7,
Yep.
honestly, it's probably not worth grading.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I obviously bought all of it. And
Yeah.
There was 11,000. A lot of them were all $50, $60, $70, $80 cards.
Yeah.
Raw.
Yeah.
And the advice was sell them raw.
Yeah.
Like exactly like what you just said.
Yeah.
The only reason I wanted to grade them is because I could have them graded consecutively, which I think
Yes.
is
Yeah. The
positive.
number. Yeah, for sure.
so they said grade them consecutively and sell them as a set.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure.
You got the big 3.
Yeah.
That is a true set.
The problem with that too is if the gradings are different.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That is true. And
So
they will
it's-
be different.
yeah.
I think the Blastoise is the best one.
Okay.
And then the Charizard's unfortunately probably the worst.
Yeah.
I think I can get an 8 out of the Blastoise.
That's good.
And then the Venusaur might be around a 7 or an 8. Probably an 8. I think it's the Charizard that might let me down a bit. But I just wanted to get the big 3 graded. And the rest of those hundreds of cards that I had, 90% of them sold. I don't have a lot left.
I think they're like $60 or something a card to grade.
Yeah, I think it's I
Or
think
maybe it's gone up a little
I
bit.
think it's 150 as well, all up for the 3, 50
Yeah.
each. Maybe including insurances as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've looked into it a number of times.
Let's do it
printed
before
out.
Christmas.
It'd be nice because I think it's 3 months now. I
Yeah.
think it's a lot quicker of a
Lot
time
quicker.
frame to
Yeah,
get it
oh,
back.
it was ridiculous at one stage. It
was.
was like 18 months.
But if we did it now, we'd get it pre-Chrissy.
Let's do it.
We
Let's
should.
Let's do it.
I've been meaning to do it.
Yeah.
We'll do it through your mate.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that way I'd have peace of mind of knowing it's
Yeah.
getting done properly. Because that's what I fear that I've.
So you'll
fucking
never
up
get your
somehow.
cards back.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's worth so much money.
What's your favorite thing to do other than running?
Mm,
So, because I don't want your 2 answers that I already know,
yeah.
and thrifting. What's
Running
your,
and work.
and work, yeah.
It's all my life's made up
I
of.
know.
It's literally all it's made up of. I mean, sport in general.
Yeah.
It's where I'm going to fall back to.
Yeah.
No matter what. Like if I'm just chilling out on the couch, not doing anything, it's just putting any game of footy on.
Yeah.
Any sporting event, getting out to sporting events.
Socializing.
Yeah, I've got really good mates that are. A lot of them are now run club mates. I've got all my mates from uni days as well because I was just at Griffith here on the Gold Coast. But a lot of my mates are those sort of, they're out running or they're training for triathlons, they're
Yeah.
swimming, they're cycling. The beers have definitely fallen away. Like they were big back in the 20s, but now in my 30s, I don't really drink so much anymore.
Good man. I don't drink at all.
No, I don't have any interest in it.
Yeah.
I never really did in my 20s, but it was just what you did.
I did too.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah. I
I-
did the drinking and the other stuff that went with it.
Yeah.
And now my biggest thing is Amy doesn't drink.
Right.
I don't drink, but when I used to drink, I wasn't a good person.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was like, just wasn't a good version of myself, wasn't the best version of myself.
and you realise that.
And I realized it. And certain things happened in my life that got me to where I am now. But yeah, drinking, like I'm not, like I still go socialise with my mates that drink and
Yeah.
still catch up with them.
And
But
you just cold turkey, nothing.
cold turkey, nothing.
How long's that been?
Like 11 months.
That's good.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
I feel better now that I'm boxing as well because
Good.
I'm like doing some fitness.
Fitness is there.
Yeah, so my head's so much clearer.
Mm-hmm.
But I used to get so crook too when I drink.
Yeah, same.
So I just feel like it's the worst thing ever for me now.
You couldn't do it.
And I'm past the hardest part. The first month's the hardest.
Oh, God, yeah.
But yeah, so yours would be footy, sport, pretty much.
Yeah, like anything that I've been passionate about, like the footy stuff is obviously what I've worked in, but I've also just truly loved it. Like I'd watch any game. I'm a big AFL man. NRL I'll pay attention to, but I'm not invested into it as much as I am with the AFL. NBA, all the stuff overseas, travel.
Yep.
Love to travel. Haven't been able to travel as much, but obviously getting over to the States from a business standpoint allowed me to get a bit of travel in. But that was what I was doing in my 20s. It was trying to mix the work of trying to build a career in the sporting industry with the travel, because that was another passion. I've just always selfishly done the thing that I want to do whenever I want to do it. And that sounds like an arrogant thing, or it sounds like a selfish thing, but life's short. So many people are out there doing jobs that they really just don't want to be doing. And
Definitely.
I've never wanted to be that person.
Yeah, I'm the same.
I don't want to fall into what I'm doing. I want to be there because I'm choosing to be there. And any step along the stage of my journey so far, wherever you see me, is because I actually genuinely want to be there, and I get a kick out of every day being there. And that's not done in a selfish sense. It's just done from a happiness perspective. It's like, how are you going to spend a lot of your time at work?
Yeah.
What do you want to do every day?
Exactly.
And I don't care how much you earn either.
Yeah.
It's just, do you get a kick out of it?
Money helps, but it's not everything.
Nah, it's not everything. But it's always about just whatever you enjoy doing the most.
That's why I do what I do. Like, I do my support work because I love helping people. Like, I'm a people pleaser.
Yeah.
So I just love seeing people with a disability become better people and helping them get to their goals in life, and that's why I do that.
Well, who's it for?
Tribes.
Yeah. Do you know Raw?
Raw, no.
Raw. My girlfriend's support worker as well.
Okay.
And she was doing that for a long time.
Yeah.
And she's only just gone to the back end where she's facilitating the trips,
coordinating and stuff.
Yeah, coordinating the trips that they go on and the hotel bookings and getting them into certain locations for their travel. But she was a support worker for ages.
Yeah. I just love it. It's just, you get so much out of it. Yeah. And like, it's not about the money at all, because we've got this place, but
that's right.
It's just, it
passion.
Helps. Yeah. It's just something I love doing.
You have to do more of it.
And my all my participants are very active, so I'll go.
I've realised that that's the term. That's the word, participants.
Yes, it is.
They're participants, aren't they?
Yeah. So the company I work for is called Tribes Adventure Group. Right. So it pretty much states what we do. So we're very active. We go kayaking, we go surfing, we go running, we do like heaps of cool stuff.
Yeah.
But it's something that would, like, if you were ever to get out of, that would be something that would be cool for you too, I feel.
It'd be right up my alley.
Yeah.
I'd thoroughly enjoy it. And I'm a people person too.
You are.
Massive people person.
Yeah.
And helping people too. So
yeah.
That would be fun.
If I'm going to go back to your flipper stuff, if there was 5 items that you would recommend people to look around their house and to make money out of, what would those top 5 items be?
Shoes, clothing, books.
What kind of clothing would you recommend if you had to focus on one bit of clothing?
Sports clothing.
Okay.
Yeah, so through my experience of being in the sporting industry, dealing with members, sport is just such a passionate, connected thing with the person.
Yeah.
So
we're talking about it.
We love it. We live and breathe it, and we're not the only ones. There's a lot of people. Like, sport is just such a massive thing in any sport globally. So if you've got a logo of a certain sport team that either you support or you've just stumbled across it, or
someone's going to want it.
Someone's not only going to want it, but they're going to really want it.
Yeah.
Because that's their team.
Yes.
So from a sales nature of just trying to flip it on eBay, if you've got a Quicksilver t-shirt or you've got a West Tigers NRL pair of shorts, there's going to be more love and passion and attention drawn to the team.
Probably not the West Tigers at the moment.
Maybe not the West Tigers. I actually just sold a West Tigers pair of shorts yesterday. That's why I brought it up. Yeah.
And,
it was a pair of footy
and
shorts.
Your Hawthorn pants.
And the Hawthorn pants. It was AFL and NRL yesterday. But they are bread and butter clothing items.
Okay.
And we say bread and butter in eBay in the term of just a low average sale price, just a really quick, easy turnover.
Quick turnover, like you always talk about.
Yeah, just a small $30 sale that will always tick over for you.
Which you probably got for $2 or $3 or something.
Bought it, yeah. But the Hawks track pants I bought on Wednesday for $5 and then flipped them for $30.
Yeah, bang.
Within it. Again, it's because of that the Hawks are playing amazing football in the AFL right now. Somebody in Melbourne bought it. It's a pair of tracksuit pants, a little bit colder down there. Tick, tick, tick. Sold $30. That would have retailed for about 50 or 60, maybe even more. So again, a bit like the furniture, they win, I win. Everyone wins. I'll ship it off to them.
So clothes.
Yeah. So shoes, clothes, books.
I've got heaps of books at home that
underrated
are just
category.
sitting there. Heaps of Ronald Dahl stuff.
Ronald Dahl does really well.
Yeah.
Ronald Dahl does great. A lot of great authors out there that pop on eBay. Harry Potter books are a great example.
Yes.
They move like wildfire if you can find the right sets. A little bit of knowledge.
First edition stuff,
hardcover stuff.
Yeah.
You start to. What I like to say when you first start out is literally look around the house for anything, and these are some categories that you can be knowing you're going to do okay.
Yeah.
But just literally trial any category. And also a bit like what we're talking about with the passions, like what are you digging yourself that you don't necessarily want anymore? Maybe you've got excess of that you're looking to try and reduce a little bit. Maybe you've got too many cards, but you're big into cards.
I definitely do.
That'd be a great place to start. Like I'd be saying to you, rather than saying what sells well, I'd be like, let's just get into the passion of selling.
Yeah.
We're going to enjoy what we're doing more if we're selling stuff that we enjoy.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty cool to take photos of cards every day if you're into cards.
Yeah.
If I told you that women's blouses did really well, go out and do that. Probably not going to be stoked to go out there.
Weirdo doing that.
Yeah, you look like a weirdo. You wouldn't enjoy it.
No way in the world.
You wouldn't know what you're photographing.
Some people would.
Some people would, yeah. But you wouldn't want to stick with that for very long.
Yeah.
So your passions for sure is a good thing to sell.
Yeah.
But yeah, shoes, clothes, books, DVDs, and video games would be the 5.
Yeah. I knew what the answers were. I just wanted people to hear them.
Yeah. They're our top 5 best selling.
Yes.
So that's why I reference them, because we just, over time have tried a lot of different things. And we've just slowly narrowed into niching down into a few different categories. And without going into any form of detail, the more you sell of a certain product, it helps your old items that you've got in store that you've previously listed. So that helps those sales come through for you.
Yeah.
When you're an everything seller and you've got one of ones in different categories right across the board, it doesn't help the old stuff because everything's new.
It's not seen.
Yeah. So niching down once you're into it, and just saying, look, I just do media, video games and DVDs, for example. You're going to have a better setup. It's like going into a shoe store. You go into a shoe store, brick and mortar.
Yes.
Come into a tattoo parlor.
You're here for one reason.
You're here for tattoos.
Yeah.
It's like you can be that on eBay.
Yeah.
You can be the shoe guy on eBay and just do shoes. But when you're first starting out, you don't know what is going to work. So it's a great way to just look around the house, put the passions on there, put the stuff you've got excess of on there, and just see what comes back in sales.
Yeah.
And a bit like me with DVDs, as weird as it was, I just saw sales.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'll triple down on DVDs.
Keep going.
And until it doesn't.
What's the largest single item you've sold on eBay?
Well, the largest item, I want to even just talk about the one that we just did the other day.
I know. That's what I thought it might have been.
Probably a top 5, I think.
Okay.
There was a piece of furniture that I flipped for $600 odd, which was a dresser table.
Nice.
Or an entertainment unit. I drove down to Kingscliff back when I first started, and I bought it for $100.
Yeah.
And then it was a fantastic furniture item that you could see was available for $1,400.
Oh wow!
So
fantastic furniture too.
Yeah, it was a good quality, solid. It was a silverwood buffet table, is what it was. Silverwood, really nice look about it. In a really nice flash home down in Kingscliff too. We drove the van all the way down there.
Nice.
Paid the $100. A bit like
it's
the
a 40-minute drive for people in traffic these days.
It's a good point. It was a fair drive.
Yeah.
And then I was able to offer delivery on it as well because it's a big, bulky, large object.
Extra $50. I think
it was 20 or 50 that I would have charged for delivery, which I did and I got. But it was 100, and then I flipped it up for I think it was 650, and then the transport might have gone on top.
Yeah, how good!
And that was the biggest furniture flip that I'd ever done. But from a true profit perspective, making $500, the average sale price on eBay is only $40.
Yep. So that's still good though.
Well, when you do it at volume,
correct.
You do 10 sales a day, $400.
That's good
that's
money.
150 a day,
as you say, good money.
Yeah, good. Yeah, absolutely. But the one that we got recently was a board game. brand new and sealed Cyberpunk 2077, which is a video game, and I don't know my video games too well, but I know that it sells well as a video game.
Definitely.
So seeing it as a board game sparked my interest, and doing the comp research that you always do. International sales are $600 to $700. Actually, I think it was $500 to $700, and we just priced ours up at that bottom end of $500.
Yeah.
I think we were one of the only few that were listed on eBay. This is in a thrift store locally that we bought for $110.
Around the corner from my house,
right,
believe it or not.
Yeah,
literally like 500 meters from my house.
There you go. It's right there. And
I've been there.
Yeah,
multiple times.
Only just come in.
Yeah,
and I just
it was there for a day, wasn't it?
Yeah, 18th, and I think we were on the 20th or something, or the 19th. So yeah, it was literally 24 hours it had been. But see, that was the tag on the box, but they might have put it on the shelf within minutes.
Yeah.
Like, if it wasn't me, it was the next person.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of the time when it comes to sourcing. It's just timing.
Is that the same store that gave you the cameras?
No.
No,
that was down
store?
in Burleigh.
Okay.
So it was another store. So I've had some big wins over the last 2 weeks.
Yes, he has.
That camera sold as well recently.
So for people that don't know and haven't seen this, Matt walked into Burleigh Op Shop, and there was all these old like cameras and stuff that were just in a box, and they were pretty dirty. They didn't look the best. But for people that don't know, like old cameras and stuff actually sell for good money these days.
Very good money.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good money.
This lady said she didn't want to deal with it. There was too many in there. They were too dirty. It was too much work for her. And Matt obviously walked in at the right time, and the lady goes, "Do you want these for $50?" And Matt, as he says in his video, he had to hide his excitement because there was one camera in there worth $750.
Yeah.
It's like crazy. So Matt's timing's actually pretty good sometimes but then other days.
Then there'll be other days that you don't know. You walk in and 20 minutes ago somebody got the same result that I did with those cameras.
You document it all too. Like some days you'll go in there and find nothing. You'll go into 6 stores.
Yeah. It's a bit like what we were saying about authenticity, right? Like rather than showing your highlights, show it all. So if you go out and you have a bad day, it's great to document that it was a bad day.
Yeah.
And actually putting that into the video and maybe structuring the title and the thumbnail around it being tough, shows that you're just like what everyone else is experiencing. Like if it is hard in thrift stores, like it is starting to become, me going in there and just trying to make videos only of bangers, just doesn't make sense of relatability.
Yeah, correct.
So I've got to make content where it's actually a slow day, and I'm fighting to try and find a win.
Where they're asking $85 for a
DVD set.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And I think I don't help myself in that regard. Like, I think they're 85 because of me.
Yeah.
In a weird way.
I guarantee you they are.
Yeah, because I know that
they
watch.
follow you, yes.
They do follow. I know that store follows. And I know that, without me speaking heavily to them about it, that I advertise how well DVDs do.
Surely they start lowering their prices a bit, though. Like,
well, the one...
They're not going to be selling, like, sell-through rate, like you say.
Oh, look, this DVD that we found just the other day in our recent video was 85, but on eBay it was 55. So
it doesn't even make sense.
That doesn't make sense at all. And I'm all, as much as I don't agree, but putting a price that is eBay in store to compare to eBay is one thing.
Yep.
But to go from 55 on eBay to $85,
it would never have ever sold for $85 when it was new. I don't feel.
No,
I could be wrong.
This is a pre-owned as well. This is a used DVD set. It's not even. It's so 7 seasons of this show. They're selling 1 to 6, so it's not complete.
Doesn't make sense, eh?
That one really, and that frustrates me a little bit.
But it happens a bit too. Like we see it a fair bit. I see it myself when I go in there with my participants.
Yeah, I saw a pair of Doc Martens in this Mermaid Beach store, and it was $160.
Because of you.
I guess I do a lot of Doc Martens as well.
You do.
And I know that manager in there too. She knows that I have the YouTube channel because I filmed in there a couple of times. But
that's the one around the corner from my house as well, is it? Or is that a different one?
This is the set of 3. You got Cashies.
Yeah. Because there's the RSPCA one in bundle too.
Yes, that one's good too. Sarah's the manager in there. She's really nice. She watches the channel too. So these guys know.
Yeah.
I can't hide that because I've done this for 4 years.
Not.
I've gone into every store. I don't know them as best mates, but they do know of what I do and vice versa. I don't have any backdoor deals, which is going to surprise a lot of people.
Yeah, wow.
I've got a lady down in Tugun that I work with that sometimes will let me do it sporadically.
Yeah.
But in 4 years, it was just in such abundance to be able to go in there and just come away with profit that I didn't feel I needed to build the connection.
Yeah,
and I'm coming from a business background mindset of understanding that networking is the way to build a business.
Definitely.
And I didn't do it with all these stores for 4 years just because I saw it all on the shelf and didn't think I had to. So I kind of shot myself in the foot a little bit because it is drying up now. And
there's one store that you and I have been to for the exact same item, and I don't think you're aware of this.
Oh, really?
That there's and we both tried to purchase this item, but they wouldn't sell it to us, and it's still in this store to this day.
Really?
Yeah, it's at Coolangatta.
Coolly. Oh, which one's that? Is it the Lifeline?
Yeah, the big one next to the bakery, I think it is.
Yep.
And there's an item in there that I tried to buy for our tattoo shop, and you also tried to
Is it
buy it as
TV?
well. Yes, it is.
TV, yeah.
The fish tank.
Retro, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How cool is that
hectic.
product?
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
rad. That's on display there.
It
Isn't
is.
Not for sale.
And it says not for sale on
That's
there.
right.
You've tried to purchase it. I tried to purchase it before you tried to
Is that
purchase
right?
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing because I put that into a video, didn't I?
You did.
I remember that. That is a very cool. It's a very unfortunately now overpriced store too.
It is. It's probably one of the worst, I feel.
Horrendous. Yeah, horrendous. None of this makes sense to me, and I could go into it in great detail around it. But the chances of having an item sell at their full price, there's so much more opportunity online with so many more people.
Yeah.
You get somebody to walk into this store and see it and want it, it's going to be so much less opportunity for that person to come in.
At the end of the day, a lot of those items are donated to those shops.
That's right.
They're not sold to those shops.
No.
That shop is also trying to make a business, which we make money to give back to charities and
that's right.
Whatever else it is. Why not focus it at that point that it's still good enough for them to make money?
Turnover.
And yeah.
It's going to keep coming into their doors.
Exactly right.
And who are they facilitating?
Yeah.
They're facilitating the less fortunate as a customer base.
Of course.
And whether they like it or not, they are facilitating those that aren't less fortunate but want to make $1 on it.
Yeah.
I don't think that's an issue for any of those customer people, like the customer bases, to come in.
Yeah.
And what they're trying to do is that they're actually pricing up more so because they're prioritizing not wanting to sell to the reseller. But in turn, that actually
losing out.
That stops the less fortunate as well.
Definitely.
They're pricing out their entire customer base.
Which is what they're there for at the end of the day.
What they're there for, I think, out of spite of obviously a reseller, but also to try and make some extra dollars. Maybe they're thinking, if we price it up, we're going to make more money.
Yeah.
But ultimately, that no one buys anything when they walk in there now because it doesn't facilitate any of their customers.
So true.
So I'm a bit clueless as to why. I just think, to turn over as much product. And they're actually saying no. They're actually turning stock away.
Yeah, right.
You donated at the other store. We're full here.
Yeah.
If you just priced accordingly and you saw it go out the door,
the turnover is ridiculous.
I could talk for hours about how strange I think the concept is for a lot of these stores. But
so for people that do want to sell some stuff and they would like to sell to you, how would they get in touch with you?
Yeah, the Aussie Flipper on Instagram is generally the way the deals get done. I've got a little note in my YouTube channel on the description to say if you want to sell some stuff, get in touch. And then really it's just photos and a price point that they'd like to sell it for, and that will determine, because I'll research and see whether or not it's worth to be profitable for me too.
Matt does buy bulk allotments, and we'll also do consignments and stuff with you as well. If you don't want to sell the whole product, and Matt will sell it for you and then give you obviously a split
the profits. Which works well too.
You do quite a lot of that.
Yeah, I do that. Fortunately, a bit like what we were saying before about not realising the opportunities that social media can provide you with is I get all these bulk buy opportunities through the viewers of the channel that have attempted it, and then they might have had a kid or they might have moved or whatever the case. Life's changed.
Yeah. Estates, heaps of different things.
Yeah, and they've got all this stuff.
Yeah.
And they've tried it. They're not looking to do it anymore. And it's like, well, where do I offload all this? And how do I get rid of it? And how do I make some money back on it? And that's where I've stepped in.
The Aussie Flipper.
I'll just get in touch with the guy that taught me how to do it.
Yeah.
So it's it's circular. I'll help people start, and then I'll help people on the back end as well by buying them out. And then hopefully there's a few out there that have just progressed and are still doing it today, and they're loving it. So those opportunities to bulk buy really kind of get me away from having to all the way around the Gold Coast looking at all these stores.
Yeah,
takes a lot of time. That's where the week gets chewed up. Courtney's doing the listing and the shipping, but I'm almost driving around to all these places to try and source this product, and it's not coming as freely as it used to. So when these bulk buys off a viewer comes in, it's like a big breath of fresh air to say, hey, we've got some stock for the next 2 weeks. Let's just chip away and work on it and get the next one. They don't come around all the time, but when they do, it's pretty handy.
So I have 3 more questions for you.
Sure.
So, and then I have 5 guest questions at the end.
Okay, cool.
And they're the same for everyone. So
Sick.
Everyone gets the same questions.
Okay.
So the first question is, Where do you see yourself in 12 months?
12 months, I'd love to have the YouTube channel hit 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah, wow.
Big goal.
That is a big goal.
Big goal.
But you can hit it. I believe in you.
Yeah, you often get an uptick once
That's
you get to
right.
around the 30 or 40 that we're at.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping with the knowledge that I've gained over the last 4, I want 5 years on YouTube to be the 100,000.
Yeah.
So we've got 12 months to get there.
Yeah.
And I'd like eBay to be exactly where it is today, which sounds weird.
Yeah.
But I really just
stay consistent.
we did 130,000 in revenue last year, 130 projected again this year. Next year, I'd like 130 again.
Yeah.
And just do it more efficiently where the profit margin's a little bit better
bigger.
off.
So instead of 40, it's 45 or 50.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just being done with less effort. We're buying higher average sale price items. And then, from that, we're making more profit, which is causing us to not have to ship out as much because we're selling for a higher average sale price. So keep eBay where it is, get YouTube to really pop, and also too to put out some products as well, like ebooks and things like that can further educate somebody that first just wanted to start out.
Yep.
Someone might not be a visual learner. They like to actually get a physical copy, step away from the video that I'm trying to teach, and they can slowly go about it.
Yep.
So I want to build out some of those products.
So you do a bit of mentoring too for people that don't know.
Yes.
So if you are wanting to get mentored, Matt's happy to do that.
That's been a new, service-based product that
Yep.
I've offered. So I've entered in with the service base of just a video link up where we actually pull up the store on camera.
Yep.
And we sit there and on video. We go through and I offer advice on how they can improve things.
You do that for an hour
1
per
hour
session.
calls.
Yeah.
1 hour calls. It's only $50. It's a pretty cheap hour.
That is good.
To hopefully help you, be able to make hundreds, thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
I could probably charge more, but it's nice to get my feet wet because it's
Correct.
a new thing for me.
Puts fuel in the chariot or whatever it does.
Yeah, literally. And I get a kick out of it's isolating.
Yeah.
Working for yourself
Definitely.
in the garage.
It is.
Only got Courtney there for a small period. I'm an
Yeah.
extroverted person.
Yeah.
So for me, it's kind of a selfish way to
Yell
connect
out
with
if you want me to
somebody.
come for a
Yeah.
cruise with you. I'll happily come along.
For sure. But those products will help me, get the numbers and the cash flow to an even better point, which is.
So my next question off the back of that question is, how are you going to get to that?
How am I going to get to?
How are you gonna? So where you see yourself in 12 months?
Yep.
What are your?
It's a hard one.
What have you got in place to get there? Or to get what you want to do?
Saying a subscriber goal of 100,000 subscribers is probably the worst goal you could write for yourself. I have no control.
No, you don't.
I have absolutely no control in that metric.
No, you don't. But you can help it.
I can help it, and I can try and work as hard as I can towards it. It won't be in my control if we get it. It would just be a random. Sometimes the algorithm can help you and not help you. It could be a random video out of nowhere that just pops and that brings in new people.
Yeah.
What I really should be saying as a goal is some numbers that I can control.
Yeah.
Some monetary figures that I can work towards. More of the eBay profit sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But it is building out these products now that the audience is there. Like there's a large volume of people watching every week. Yet I don't actually offer, prior to the servicing stuff, anything outside of my next upload.
No.
Which, when you've built the audience and you can further assist them one-on-one or in groups, I truly want to help somebody build an eBay side hustle. So it's like I've got to create the product to facilitate that opportunity. So that's going to be the way that I'm going to be able to further grow it over the next 12.
Have you thought, and this is just an extra quick question on top, have you thought about doing merchandise?
I did for a little bit there with a print-on-demand company, where it was just as the order comes in, they'll print it and they'll send it.
Yes.
And you won't need to buy a backlog of stock.
Yeah.
I thought that might be a great way to kind of get into it to begin with. It was just the profit margins were tiny. We're talking like 5 to 10% when it was all said and done. And you would have to charge like $60, $70 to get that.
Yeah.
And it just seems so out of not even just worth it. Like $10 profit for a t-shirt.
Yeah.
But they would have to pay $70 to get it. I was just like, I'd much rather help you make money
another way,
from a business standpoint.
Be cool to see your own merch out there, though.
Yeah, I know. I think it'll be a hat because
Yeah.
I wear hats 24/7. I'm known for my hats. Might get Vans to sponsor me for a design on one of these checkers.
You got to start tagging them in your stories.
I should. I've actually only realised just how much they are hated, these shoes, only recently. So I'm actually going to put a lot more content out around these shoes, just really rub it back in.
Start all your videos with your feet and then pan up to your stock.
I did on a story yesterday. I walked to the post office, really
I
zoomed
saw
in.
that.
Yeah,
I saw that.
Deliberate.
How I say to tag Vans, actually my Birkenstocks broke after 4 years.
Tag them?
and I tagged them in my story,
Yeah.
and they replied to it.
Oh, nice.
And then I said it because I said, "Oh, surely a sponsorship after 4 years. This product's amazing."
yeah,
They replied, and then they said, "Send us an email, and we'll see what we can do."
that's
It's
awesome.
$160 pair of shoes.
Brilliant.
Like,
I love that. I'm going to hit Vans up.
do it. Do
Yeah.
it. If you don't shoot your shot, they're not going to be
I've
able to
always
help
said
you.
that. I've
Yeah.
always said that. You got to speak up. A no is never a bad thing.
Yeah,
It's
and
the maybes that you don't want to get.
and that's how I get these people in the shop by
Yeah.
asking them.
Yeah, 100%. You got to
So-
be out there.
My last question is, do you have any questions for me?
When's your availability for a tattoo? 'Cause we've got to
we-
get these tattoos done. I'm keen. This is
We-
a cool studio.
We can probably get you in within a week.
That'd
I
be
reckon
cool.
a week or two.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
I do need to line one up.
yeah, that'd be cool.
What are your plans for the
shop?
for content?
For content for this
For the
or
shop.
for the shop?
You've obviously got the pod rolling now.
Yeah, so
What's-
what we do with our stuff is we never advertise, like paid advertise ads or anything like that through social media. I'm a big sports person yourself. Amy's a world champion kayaker that used to be a world champion kayaker, so she's very active as well. Goes to the gym at 3:30 every morning.
Wow,
7 days a week.
7 days.
Doesn't stop.
That's sick.
She actually wants to go to the Olympics again because she could have went.
Wow.
So I have a bit of stuff that I want to try and build off the back of her documenting her everyday life as a tattooist.
Yeah.
She hates the camera.
Does she?
She hates it.
Right.
She's way worse than Courtney would have ever been.
Really?
She's the biggest introvert you've ever met.
Crazy.
But when she's in her space,
She's
when
good.
she's at the gym or she's here,
Yeah.
she's the total opposite person.
Yeah. Wow.
So I just want to build some content off the back of her,
Mm,
as much as she hates that.
yeah.
Um,
Does she understand as much as she's introverted to it the power of it?
Yeah, I think she does, but she just hates it that
Yeah.
much.
Gotcha. Yeah. Which is not uncommon.
Yeah, but I also want to try and build their profiles. So not only Amy's, I want to build the other girls' profiles as well to be more successful and be a
known name.
known
what
tattooist
it's
on
all
the
about.
Gold Coast because there's so many of them,
Yeah.
and for them to be different to everyone else. Our tattoo studio is completely different to any other tattoo studio on the Gold Coast. It's bright.
Mm.
Our old shop was even brighter. It was like pinks and purples and oranges. So it was like really, really bright. Most tattoo shops you go into are like this. They're
Darker.
black,
Yeah.
play death music and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So we're just, in a way, we're trying to change the stigma of a tattoo shop without pushing it too hard.
I like it.
And
And it's got a good feel about it when
It
you walk
does. And everyone says that.
in. Mm.
But when Amy and I look at it, it's,
You can see so much more.
there's still so much more to do.
Yeah.
So much more to do.
Well, you're only freshly in.
Yeah, we've only been here like just over a month.
Wild to think you've come this far and built this little
Yeah.
studio as well.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
created everything in there and transitioned as quick as you did too.
Yeah.
That was a quick transition. From
Yeah.
another
So we moved house and we
you moved
mo-
out. I
and-
would have.
So we moved house and we moved tattoo shop
Wow.
on the same weekend.
Wow.
It was the worst time of our lives.
That's crazy.
It was-
Short time of your life though. Doing it in a weekend.
We did it on the Friday. We got the truck on the Friday morning
Yeah.
and we returned it Sunday arvo.
Wow.
It was It was stupid.
Just one and done.
And
though, at
Amy and
least.
I did it by ourselves. No one
No
helped us.
removalists or anything.
Nothing.
Damn. We've absolutely nailed it.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you. So I got 5 guest questions here. These are a bit different.
Yeah, fire them away.
You've seen them, so
I
I'll
don't
give
know
it-
if I've seen them though.
Okay.
But I didn't spend too much time.
I sent it to you. So the list was I sent of some of the questions I asked already,
Yeah.
and then the guest questions are right down the bottom. But then I sent messages quickly after it,
Yeah.
so you probably
I
didn't.
grazed over them all, but these
Yeah.
will probably be hit with the first time.
So the first one is, do you have a party trick? And if you do, can you show me it?
My party trick is probably not a trick, but it's a conversation starter.
Okay.
And I don't have a sense of smell. I was born without a sense of smell,
Yeah, right.
which is the reaction I get from a lot of people.
So I could have been farting the whole time and you wouldn't have
This-
smelled it.
Yeah, my girlfriend is stoked about
Yeah,
this
right.
because she doesn't, morning breath or anything like
Yeah,
that.
wow.
Yeah, I was literally born without it. And when I have that conversation with people at parties or any social gatherings, it's a 20-minute conversation
Yeah.
about the fascination of how you go about life
That's
without
pretty
it.
cool.
So yeah, I wouldn't say it's a trick, but I've lived my whole life without it.
That's weird in a way too, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we won't talk about it for 20 minutes.
No, we don't need to talk about 20 minutes, but it's definitely a unique thing about me that I guess is very, very different to anybody else.
So a lot of followers wouldn't know that.
Nah, no one would really know about it. That went so long. Like I think it was in my Freo days back, I was like 26, 27 or so. Like I've gone my whole life without telling anybody.
Yeah.
I remember the school days where someone would fart and they'd be like, oh, what's that smell? And I'd be like, yeah, what's that smell? And I'd be like, what is going on, dude? Like you can't smell anything. Like nothing.
Wow.
Even the bad stuff.
So food, sense of taste is different as well?
So sense of taste is very limited.
Yeah.
I think in the sense of the fact that there is no smell, it just correlates, goes hand in hand so much that
definitely.
I do taste.
Yeah.
But I think what you experience
is completely different.
You would be maxed.
So can you eat spicy food for that? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love spicy food.
Yeah,
I think because it's like you would cop it here.
Yeah.
I get it to about there.
Yeah, right.
It's limited.
Yeah.
I think I have no idea because I've got nothing to compare it to.
It's like people that are blind.
You don't know.
The vision's different, sound.
It's easy to deal with because I was born without it.
Yeah.
So I haven't had it and lost it, which I think is a lot easier to deal with. You know, when you don't even know what you're missing.
Yeah.
But yeah, the good smells I obviously don't get. The bad smells though, which is great. I've never smelled any of that, which is
I
so
fart
weird.
a lot too.
That's fine. You can let rip.
I've said that on previous podcasts too, so I'll be happy to do them around you.
Absolutely let them fly, man. I'll just clap you. That sounded good.
Who's the most famous person you have in your mobile phone?
Famous person in the mobile phone.
Do you still have Gary Ablett's number?
I've got a couple of old Gold Coast Suns boys.
Yeah.
Only not because I'm best mates.
I'm not going to ask you to call anyone or anything. I was just saying who's your most famous person in your phone.
I don't know. I've got the Carlton captain Paddy Cripps in there.
Oh yeah.
He's in there.
Brownlow medalist.
Yeah, really good. Really good footy player. He's in there.
He's very famous.
My Carlton days though, I needed to get players to go to to certain meetups and meetings that I was associated with as well. So he's not in there as a mate. He's there
it's just in your phone.
He's just in my phone. So he'd
so
probably
Paddy
be the biggest
Cripps?
one. Paddy Cripps, I reckon.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of the footy boys in there that are still in there.
Do you talk to any of them still?
Not
really?
so much.
Nah.
No, I was tight with there were a few Gold Coast boys that I was tight with because we'd go out afterwards.
Yeah.
Staff and players would all go out to Broady and do the night. We'd go to Love Nightlife.
Yeah.
The nightclub there every single Saturday. And
right.
Big Charlie Dixon, Harley Bennell, these Suns
Charlie
boys.
Dixon's a gun.
He is a gun. They're all same age as me.
Yeah.
And as we were coming up, we'd just go out into the clubs and run amok. But yeah,
the good old days.
That was a while back now. It's almost 10 years ago now. It's
wow.
over 10 years.
Need a reunion.
Yeah, they've all run around elsewhere now, so you don't see them.
What's one thing you can't live without?
My phone.
Okay,
it's a pretty easy answer.
It's your business at the end of the day.
My whole business, and it's actually a serious issue. I can't live without it. I think I've got serious phone addiction.
Yeah.
I can't live without the phone. I need to get a second phone.
Yeah.
I need to get a business related phone just so I can put it away.
Definitely.
And then just have a personal phone as well. But my screen time, don't know what the numbers are, but that'd be.
It's a tax dodge at the end of the day.
Completely. Yeah.
Just get another one.
I could 100% get another one.
Yeah.
They cost a lot though, these damn things.
They do. $2,000.
Yeah. No, it's a lot of money, but
it is.
I find that if I'm not with it for even 20 minutes, I'm looking for it.
Do you know what you need to do? Well, we've been going for nearly 2 hours, so you'll get your fix soon.
Yeah, I know. There's this horrible dopamine that you get from a notification.
So you know what you could do is when you're out at wherever it is, you're at the thrifts or whatever, and there's a phone there. Instead of flipping it, you could just use that as your work phone.
Yeah, I need to go on Facey actually and just buy a cheaper one that I could just use YouTube Studio
phone or something that still works.
Honestly, just one that plays 2 apps.
Yeah.
If I can get a phone that plays eBay and YouTube, that's
done.
The stuff that I'm doing on the business side.
Yeah.
On the phone, that's all I need a second phone for.
Fairly newish, so it's not too slow and stuff as well. I guess.
Yeah, I don't need a Bell's big, iPhone 15 or 14 or whatever.
No, not at all.
But it's a bad one that I'm reliant on.
Yeah,
for sure.
This next question's a different one, and it's have you ever sent a nude to the wrong person?
Have I ever sent a nude to the wrong person?
So obviously a dick pic to the wrong person. You haven't?
Is this through experience?
Yeah, I've done it, definitely.
You have?
Yeah.
What happened?
I haven't
How many times have you done it?
I've done it a few times.
To the wrong person?
Yeah.
How does that happen?
Different wrong people.
Well,
just because you're in like
What are you?
Because you're in like 4 different conversations at the time, and
What
then,
are you sending it from? Instagram?
No, not anywhere where you can like delete
Snapchat?
it. No, I don't have Snapchat.
How are you sending them?
Just text message. Yeah,
Text
so you can't
message.
delete it.
Can't delete it. That's your first mistake.
Yeah, of course.
Gotta get on the ones that you just delete that back.
Yeah, I've done it a few times, to be fair.
So you're talking to multiple
Hmm.
and you're sending them just
Only one person. You're obviously sending people messages
yes.
normally.
Who'd you send it to?
I'll tell you off air.
Your mum.
No, it definitely wasn't my mother. I'll tell you off air.
Okay, I'm excited to hear that. I wish I had a story around this, but I haven't. I haven't.
So, one of our tattooists, I asked her the same question, obviously not on a podcast.
Yeah.
And she said, yeah, I have. I sent it to my best friend's boyfriend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
That's full on.
That's a tough
They're
conversation.
still very, very good friends to this day.
To this day. Yeah, wow.
She actually meant to send it to her best friend,
Yeah.
but actually sent it to her boyfriend because she was
Jeez.
sending it to her best friend, obviously,
Yeah.
to get her, is this good enough? Like,
Yeah,
give her
right.
reassurance.
Right.
And sent it to her boyfriend.
Holy
So she
hell.
understood what was going on.
Well, she'd been in conversation.
Yeah.
So when it went there,
Yeah.
she was like, "Oh shit." Yeah. You could probably get around that. But if it
Pretty
was just
full on,
if it was
eh?
just at random,
Yeah.
no prior conversation around what she was already doing, that would have been tough.
Yeah.
That would have been tough.
My story's pretty full on. It beats
I'm looking
that.
forward to hearing that.
Yeah.
You can't share it on the pod.
Nah, I might down the track, but I'm not doing it
I like
early.
it. You're gonna have to keep watching.
Yes. And what's your favourite pickup line? Is the last one?
Favorite pickup.
Or one that's worked?
One that's worked. Jeez, I really wish I had read these questions beforehand. There's one.
It's all right if you don't have one.
No, there's a ton
We'll
actually.
have to take it off airplane.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a ton of Strava ones that we've been floating around.
Oh,
You
yeah?
know, the running app.
Yes. So when I
Um,
was doing the I'll keep talking for you. So you
Yeah.
can, when I was doing the GC 10K, there was this chick holding up a sign, and it was, if you faint, I'll pause your Strava for you.
Yeah.
And I was like, I yelled out to her. I'm like, thank you.
I like that a lot. The run clubs are a dating pool.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all they
Hence why
are.
you got your,
100%. Yeah, a lot of guys that are there, a lot of chicks that are there. They're all single. They're all
Yep.
looking to meet people, and the Strava app, the running app,
yeah,
is almost like
like Tinder.
it's like Tinder. Like you
Yeah.
link up, send a comment. Do you want to go for a run?
Yeah.
That's a real thing.
Hence how you met Kate, is it?
Kate,
Yeah.
yeah. I've got a few here because we've been floating these around. I actually said this to Kate
Okay.
in the comments of her Instagram because she ran a marathon in July with me.
Clearly it works.
I said on a scale of 1 to 10, you're a 42.2.
Oh, yes, that's nice.
Yeah,
That's nice.
That's a simple one, easy one. Got to do it with a runner, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
But she just ran a marathon. I found that in the pickup lines because I wanted to comment something.
What was her reaction?
She loved it.
Yeah, nice.
She was like,
Nice.
"You found that on Google, didn't you?"
yes, I did.
I did actually, yeah. But I put the effort in. That's all
Yeah,
that matters.
I sent it to you.
But I think that's an easy, quick win for anybody that's out there
Yeah.
running.
How good.
So it's floating around the Strava community for sure.
Nice.
Not the first to have said it.
So that's pretty much it, mate. I just wanted to say thank you for coming on. Thanks for doing what you're doing, like in your business, because at the end of the day, if you weren't doing what you're doing, I wouldn't have seen you.
Yeah.
And we only talk a little bit, but I feel like we have a bit of a relationship there.
We
I
do.
actually want to come out and do like a thrift with you. And I said to you a while ago, but I had to play cricket. I want to come to a Sunday morning,
Oh,
with you.
get to the flea.
get to the flea as
Flea's
well. But
better than the thrift.
yeah,
Yeah, a lot of fun down the flea.
I just want to watch you in action.
Oh, mate, you come down and buy some stuff yourself. Just
Yeah,
wheel and
possibly
deal,
will.
reel and
For
deal,
sure.
negotiate. There's always like awesome items for the personal too that you can take away for yourself.
Yeah.
And I don't miss. So
No.
whenever you're free and available, we can get out there and
Yeah.
do that for sure.
I have my grand final this Sunday, so I won't be able to get there this
Nice.
Sunday. But
You have some free time after that. though.
yeah, I will for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it revs up, I think, in summer too.
Yeah.
Get the nicer weather.
Yeah.
Not as cold.
Yes, sounds good.
So the flea builds up around Christmas time. So
Sounds great.
yeah,
but
this has been awesome.
we'll see you again in here soon. And like I said, thanks very much for coming on episode 2.
Episode 2, you're on your way.
Yes.
You would got another 9 to go and you've
Yeah,
beaten the pack.
yes, yeah. I'll double down on it. I'll smash them out. But yeah, like I said, thanks very much, mate, for coming on.
No
It was a
stress.
pleasure.
Much appreciated.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
Oh, you're a good man.
Unreal.
Thanks very much.
Unreal. Stoked to be the second.
Oh, there you go. That was longer than the first one.
Was it?
Yeah, by 5 minutes.
Oh, nice. What was it, 2 hours?
Yeah, 2 hours and 8 minutes.
2 hours and 8. Wow. It didn't feel like it.